Listo? How's everyone doing? Happy Monday. It's actually holiday here in Colombia, but we're still gonna be doing our live video. So for today, again, um, horizontal composition. So we're gonna leave out the palette. We have a plan with Danny for next year.
Sorry, hey everyone.
Yeah, there's Danny. Um, we have a plan to try to get a wide angle lens, maybe like 28 millimeter. So not super wide angle. Uh, Also, we're trying to see like cost benefit. So I think we can get a Tamron, so not quite a Sony lens, but still a really good lens. 2875. I think it's an F. Oof, I forgot now. F28, I think. But I tried my Tamron because I used to have a 5D, a Canon 5D, and I tried to look what we would get with the Tamron with the 28 millimeter, and we can get the whole drawing table. So that would be super cool because that means that we can get, we can work actually larger paintings. How large is this table, Danny? What do you think?
Do you want me to
Um,
bring the
no.
meter?
Let's see if we can just to 60, 80, ¿te suena? Dos, tres. Yeah, like 70 by 90 maybe. I
¿No es
would
de
say like
pliego?
no alcanza.
¿Seguro?
Mm,
Yo creo que esa mesa...
I don't know.
Ven, me demoro un segundo, voy por el metro.
Okay, so Danny's gonna bring some measuring tape, but I think we could get like a larger piece. And we're trying to see if we could get like maybe a cheaper camera that we can have a second video input, so we can record the palette separately, and we can. So let's see. Let's measure this.
75.
So that's 75 centimeters, which is roughly 30 inches by. That's actually the width. Con la pintura. 60. So roughly 24. So roughly 30 by 24 by 30. So yeah. So I think if with 28 millimeters we can do a larger kind of image. We're gonna have a bunch of real estate to work with, and we can get like a cheaper, maybe digital camera, like a small one, maybe to have as a second video input, so we can focus on the palette, as I was saying, and we'll just do like a little picture-in-picture off to the side, and then we can have a smaller one for the references we use. So that could be super cool. But we're going to try to do that. We have a trip planned out, so we can actually work those things out during the trip. So that's going to be pretty cool. I think we could do that for next year. But that's going to be next year, because right now we have a fixed lens. So that means that if we want to have more real estate in our screen, we would need another tripod. And you guys have seen our setup, so it's a lot of like spit and dreams.
And
so,
maybe another roof.
yeah, yeah. I don't think we could go that high up, so that to get this whole thing with 55 millimeters. So yeah, we'll work with what we have. But for today, I was thinking of doing, because I kept thinking about this painting that we did a week ago, actually, the one of Samu, that was the portrait of Samu and the hands like in the bottom. And I think what I did with that painting was something just pretty common, I guess, that we all do as painters, which is to try and establish hierarchies in our painting, which means that there's always going to be something that's more important in terms of the way we as painters / directors, we want our painting to be traversed, the direction and the tempo in which we want our painting to be traversed. So what we usually do is just give a spot in the painting hierarchy, or a couple of spots, and then there are secondary moments, instances of the painting. There's tertiary moments. There are things that don't matter in terms of. Every single thing in the painting matters, but they don't matter in the sense that they're not supposed to be there to grab your attention. You're supposed to uncover them while you're traveling through the painting, which is something that's really, really cool. Genius painters are able to do that, where you immediately recognize what's important about the painting, but then very slowly you start kind of unearthing these tiny little gems that are scattered throughout the painting, but you're not supposed to see them super quickly. And that's amazing. That's how you can spend hours looking at a painting, months looking at a painting, literally years looking at a painting, and discovering instances of the painting that maybe you didn't see at first glance, but then at a second or third or fourth or maybe 10th revision of the painting, you're like, oh my god, why had I never seen this? And that's amazing. I think that's a wonderful quality of a painting, and I think it only belongs to two-dimensional art. So I think that's something exclusive to a painting. So when we do hierarchies, and I think in Samu's painting, it was very clear that we gave special interest to the portrait, even though it was very expressive, and then it kind of diluted towards the bottom. It was actually a vertical painting. So it was when you were going down, you kind of saw these interlaced fingers, and they were very loose, very, very loose. But I thought that for today, we could do something that I usually like, which is having a couple of moments of interest in an image and trying to balance them out, because as you're going to see today, one of those instances is going to belong to the upper hemisphere if we were to just draw an axis across our page. One of our center of interest is going to be up here, and then the other one's going to be down here. And all of this is going to be empty space. So the nature of the image is actually super disjointed. If you really think about it, you could make a ton of arguments as to why the image shouldn't work, but we're going to try to make it work. And I think that that's super cool when something, it's not supposed to work, but you want to give it a shot. You want to give it a try and kind of make it work. So I think that because it is actually not difficult in the sense that it's going to be any more difficult to draw or paint than anything that we've painted before, but I think it's difficult to balance. I want to see if I could draw it out a little bit better in the initial stages. So I don't know if I'm going to follow my drawing that much, but I just want to have some sort of clarity as to the disposition of the shapes, so I don't have to kind of think about those things while I'm painting that much. I can kind of work on that's not going to be something that's super set in stone, but at least I'm going to feel that I can work, that there's going to be enough elements. And the other thing is, Danny, are we showing the reference?
Yep,
Yeah.
we
Okay.
are. And I was gonna say that
Yep.
I have the image of Samu's painting. Maybe
Oh,
some
okay.
people don't know what you're talking about, so it's appearing on screen
Okay,
in the
super. Thank you.
right corner down. So
Yeah, awesome. So the other thing is that there's a ton of empty space between Fer's portrait, and I hope that you guys can kind of see it sort of appearing with this initial kind of scribble. There's a ton of space between the portrait and the hand that's right here, which is, kind of makes sense because we don't really see where the arm is, but we need to at least kind of rationally tell ourselves, yeah, that hand can belong to Fer because, there's enough room and enough space for her shoulder and then her arm, then her forearm, her wrist, which we don't really see. So that's actually because I thought, well, they're bound to be disjointed, these two shapes. So why not just cut them with a space that is actually super, super empty? But I was thinking I can make her a little bit bigger and the hand a little bit bigger also, so I could reduce this space to make it a bit less rational, let's say. And I can have, but this would be traditional me. This would be like textbook me. And I would only do that because I would want to paint this head bigger and this hand bigger because I just think they're cool to paint. But the thing is, if I do that, then these two moments of the image, they're just going to be dramatically more important than everything else. I mean, there's not much else, in the rest of the painting. So you could argue, well, just make them bigger. What are we sacrificing? Nothing. But that nothing is also like air, and it's super nice kind of atmosphere. So maybe it's not such a small sacrifice if we were to just make everything bigger and disregard the fact that we don't really have enough space for that arm, even though we're not seeing it. So it would just be like a floating head and a floating hand. So very mannerist painting, but so I thought about that, and I think that that's my go-to. I think that traditionally I go for those things just because I want to have fun painting form. So and that's just what attracts me. And if I'm not lazy, but if I just don't want to question the painting that much, and if I just want to go for the things that I really like, I'm just going to do that, and then not really think about it twice, and say, okay, the space between portrait and hand is just going to be abstract enough that it doesn't really matter. So who cares? But for today, so the reason I'm already committing to doing a kind of more rational sense of space, it's because I think that I want to, not make this look interesting. I think that all of this space is just going to be empty. This is going to be basically a plane that's turning on this direction. Maybe, well, perspective, it's going to turn a little bit more, but it's going to do basically this, and then turn. It's a softer edge. It's not a super, super hard edge as if it were, I don't know, like at the edge of a table, for example. It's not like a straight angle. So it's actually a little bit softer, but you could see where the plane breaks. And I actually like that Fer's cheek is kind of doing that gesture, and this gesture of her cheek is kind of echoing the sort of soft gesture here. It's not enough. It's not that she's pushing this so much that it actually bends its shape, but it's just a very soft kind of recognition of that echoing of gesture that I think it's kind of interesting. So yeah, so I think we're gonna do this. I'm noticing that I can go a little bit bigger because I'm noticing that there was a lot of space here for the cheek that I'm not that I wasn't really accounting for. But that's gonna be okay. I feel my angle has to be. That's where this is gonna be more. The angle is gonna be the simple angle is gonna be more important than getting my features right straight away. And there's like tiny. I don't really have a lot of space here, so I have to keep that in mind. They're super soft here. Love corners of the mouth, how they just go into shadow, especially if you have your light up here, making kind of like these deep eye sockets, which are very, very nice. You can follow those cast shadows super, super nicely. Same with the hair. Her, ¿cómo se dicen los mechones in inglés?
Bangs?
Her bangs?
Yeah, but
I thought bangs were like right here, or
no.
just that. So those two, those kind of bleached ones are also bangs?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I think
Okay.
they can be longer.
Okay,
She
okay.
has like curtain bangs. I think they're called.
Curtain bangs? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that
Yeah.
are a little bit longer.
Okay, okay. So
Yeah.
those are, yeah. You that's your territory, Danny. That's, yeah. Uh,
What curtain bangs or bangs?
No, just knowing about
Hair?
hair. I mean, that's something that I've never had to,
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
had to worry about that for,
Yeah.
when did I just cut my hair off? When I was like 28, 29, 28, I feel. I was like, okay, this is good. This is enough.
But
This is pathetic.
you were stretching it a little bit, maybe.
On 28? Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
was already doing that thing. You know how Hollywood actors, when they have, um, when they're balding, and you could kind of see, this is a face, by the way.
Okay.
And so we men lose our hair here, right? So we have more hair like in the middle, but we start losing our hair here on the sides. And you've probably noticed that they just do that with the hairstyles of the actors. They'll brush this back and they'll brush. I mean, I'm doing a horrible job, but I
Yeah,
did.
but I've seen that. Or maybe to the side, like to try to cover
Yeah,
on the top of the
they'll do
head.
this, and then in the back they just go back. So I pretty much just drew like Chris Pratt over here, but yeah. So I was doing that too. I was just like messing my hair so it would come up here, and then I don't know what I would do here. I would just do a mess like that. That was probably, I think this was my hairstyle when I was 26. Um, but it was pathetic. It was really, really pathetic. So I was like, oh, I gotta stop. So, anyways, let's not get detoured, unless you guys like these little detours. But anyways, so I think this is good. I'm starting to get a lot of structure from this, which is good. I think the angles are good. I'm gonna just spend a little more time, more than I usually would, on this little moment of the drawing. I just kind of want to get this right. I feel that sometimes I rush into it too much, and I kind of rely on myself being expressive, like my expressiveness to just get me out of trouble. But many times when I just need sort of a sensible drawing, oof, I have a hard time because I'm not really, like, I'm not really able to invoke that aspect of my ability when I need it. So yeah, so this is good. I'm mapping these out just a little bit, a little harsher than I usually would, but I think that's okay. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So the shape is okay. It's also kind of nice that she's pushing this way. So I'm gonna have to, because I don't think I have another photo where I have enough of her sleeve to go all the way up there, but that's fine. We'll just make something up. I want to see how well that's hair still. How I finish this off on this side. It doesn't have to be important, but I still have to finish it off. Okay, that's that. That. It's almost like a serpentine. A bunch of like all these little accordion um, folds here. But it can't be too busy. Like this moment can't be filled with these little kind of folds like that. That would be too much. If it's too important, your eye is going to stay right there. But we want our eye to just travel all the way up to here. So we don't want to make that relevant. And that's going to be empty, 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 empty. This is going to be darker atmosphere here. Oh, so what I was saying is, you can actually see it in the hair. Some of her hair, some of her bangs are like tucked in, which is really nice. And then others are just kind of pulling out, which is also kind of cool. And that you can start seeing with the rest of her hair in the back, that it just kind of pulls out. So that's really nice because it's this whole gesture that's actually making this little belly appear. And because I absolutely love asymmetry, I want to see where she parts her hair. Does that have a name? La carrera? I know that's parting your hair, but I don't really know if there's a name for this.
I think it's
This little
part.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know other name for
Yeah,
that.
me neither.
En español sí.
La carrera.
La
La
carrera.
carrera. No,
¿Cuál más?
nada más. O sea, yo le digo
Sí.
carrera. Mi mamá le decía carrera desde que yo tengo como un año.
Sí, no sé por qué pensé que había más nombres. Yo la
No.
carrera
Y
y
sí,
la carrera.
se sintió como que ibas a decir 6 nombres más,
No,
por lo
es que
menos.
pensé que
6
tenía
más.
más nombres, pero no
Sí.
creo que es la carrera.
So the hair is parting here, which is really nice. It's actually pushing up here and then turning. It's really, really cool. There's a little bit of shadow there. This one goes up, and this one not so much. This one kind of flattens out here. So if we can push that gesture, that's really nice. That's a really nice shape. So even in like simplest terms, we're noticing that we can evoke just a feeling of weight on her, that there's a body that is pushing down, and her head it's almost as if her head was weighing like a ton, and then she's just that her neck is not willing um, to withstand the weight of her head. So she's just pushing down upon this the arm of this couch. So it's really nice. I feel that's super super important because that makes it that makes it a painting. I feel if we were just doing a portrait and it's just about doing a head that's tipped, like a tipped head, and that's about it. Sure. But now we speak about gesture and we speak about the weight of the body, and it just makes for a nicer painting, I feel. So I think that we're doing well here. I actually really like that drawing, like this initial gesture. I hope I'm not gonna lose it while I paint. But I also tell myself, well, if I lose it, yeah, I don't know. We'll find it again while we're painting. It can't just be a one shot thing. So we'll find it again. So that's good. That eye, don't pay attention to that eye. That's terrible. Let's see. Goes down here, changes planes, tucks in, cast shadow. So these are actually important too because they speak about all this weight coming here. So that's actually really nice. Let's see that. There we go. Shadow. Cast a shadow, goes down. And then we can start with the hand. I actually blocked like super loosely. Well, not blocked in. I just made an oval shape for where my hand was gonna be. Let's see. If we bring it down, then it just goes slightly up, then down. Goes around. Super small space here. I actually like when I'm talking myself through drawing because I know that I have to pay attention to the things that I think, that I would think I would, no, that I think I take for granted when I don't do this like too much. It's just, you need to concentrate while you're doing it. So, or at least I do. Goes down. That middle finger tucks in. You can see the break in that knuckle. It just ticks in the back because that one usually would be longer, but this is the one that's actually longer right now. So it's that. Then this one is overlapping, which is very beautiful. Our hands kind of do that gesture. Let me see. Let's find these knuckles again here. Here. Nice. You can actually see that little gesture here. And then this kind of like drastically changes directions and then changes directions once again. And then little finger just tucking in, but this is going to be quite thick actually here. So, and this has to go, these can't be straight. They have to do that. So we have to acknowledge where our fingers are born. Then it's not straight. It actually goes low, high, and then low again. So that's super, super important. There we go. There we go. So I think that's good enough. Oh, okay. And then there's this plane going here of the couch. And that tiny bit of that sleeve here. That's going to be cool. Okay. So I think that's... Oh, okay. And I just saw this. There's an insinuation of space behind, and I think it's kind of like that. No, it's actually, let's make it lower. Maybe like that. So this one has to make sense with this. So this would actually be our perspective here, and I suck at perspective. And then this one, we don't really have anything telling us how that perspective works, at least in here. I mean, there's like some texture to that sofa where we can kind of tell what's going on, but we have to keep that in mind if we're going to do this and insinuate how form is kind of turning, and if we're going to do that bit of the edge of the room here. We're not going to suggest any of the floorboards, but But that's it. I think that's going to be our painting. I think it's pretty cool. So all of this dark, 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 dark. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is be a little more careful with my underdrawing today. A little bit. Not so much so that we're going to condition the painting that we're going to do afterwards, but I do want to be mindful that we just spent like 15 minutes trying to talk through this drawing. So it would serve no purpose, and it just kind of doesn't make any sense if we made all that effort to just go over it with paint, which I usually do. But when I do, is because I just do like a little scribble and then I paint over it. I'm sorry. So when that's the case, I'm totally fine. But if I'm trying to understand something, if I'm trying to figure something out, and something that I know it's like super important for the painting, then we should respect that a little bit. I know myself, I think I'm gonna have a little bit of a hard time with this nose, trying to see what that spacing is so I don't struggle with that later on. There we go. Fer's nose is usually like super straight here. Like her nostrils tuck in underneath and they almost meet this kind of middle section of the nose. And then they go back and they tuck in again. Like that's the gesture of her nose. That's not quite my gesture. Not at all Danny's nose. Danny has like so many sharp edges to her nose that it's ridiculous. It's a joy to paint her nose, but you can kind of like destroy it in tons and tons of different planes. So it's super nice. But not Fer. She has like a rounder rounder nose like I do. So let me see. So I think this is good. This is not as dark, but still is the portrait turning. That's pretty good. And she's going to be looking off to the side. I have to be mindful of that. I don't have to do this like super, super strong right now. But yeah, that's really nice. Like the gesture of that look, that's going to be... Also, I can't push it that much because it's going to be like a deep sunken eye socket. I mean, there's still light, filling up the shadow here just a little bit, but it still feels like a very deep eye socket. And it has some Ashley Wood eyelashes coming down. Those are super cool. Sometimes he does eyelashes like that, literally, and it looks amazing. Yeah, I think we're gonna be good. Again, I don't usually spend too much time doing this, but I think for today we want to be a little more certain of what we're doing. And let me see. Let me just double check here. That's where that finger turns. This is too big. Turns. We're actually seeing that plane of the finger there. I think we're good. I think we're good. Well, let's see. So I think this is good. Good enough. Good enough. Maybe. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna use some medium today to help me do a somewhat traditional kind of start of a painting where I'll do like an umber, not underpainting in the sense that it's gonna be playing the role of an underpainting in a painting that has layers, but it's just gonna be that initial kind of block in where where you can work with a transparent raw umber just to mass in your shadows, to start thinking about value, the sort of traversal of value, the shapes of value in your image. So I'm going to do that. And for that, I'm going to use raw umber. And the medium we use is liquid.
Oh, that cup.
Yeah, this is terrible. I mean, this is the reason why people don't want liquid, on their paintings. Because imagine that little bit, microscopically, yeah, like this is a thick layer, but microscopically, it's the same thing. So it does yellow. You can sense that it has like a yellow tint to it. But I mean, the Mar varnish, it yellows over time. But the only bad thing about this is that this I haven't even tried to see how I could dilute it. But I'm pretty sure you would need a very, very strong solvent. I know that terps alone won't do it. It won't do it, or um, any petroleum distillate won't do it either. So you probably need something harsher, which makes it completely, impossible for a restorer to take this off of your painting, this layer, this skin off of your painting, because once they have to, dab it with a super strong solvent, they're going to ruin your painting. Or not ruin your painting, but they're going to pick up paint that's underneath that kind of thin layer of liquid. So I can totally understand why people would hate it. This is kind of what would happen. It's just a goop that hardens over time. It transforms. It doesn't just oxidize and it creates a skin. No. It actually transforms. And you can actually see this. Reduces brushstroke retention and resists yellowing. I don't know about that. Semi-gloss finish. I would say it's glossy. It's actually on the glossy side, but yeah, it has some velvety in it. Not suitable as a varnish. So, I mean, come on. If it's going to do such amount of damage to your paint as a medium, you could use it as a varnish. I mean, if they're saying, hey, paint, yeah, we can damage paint. But if you use it as a varnish, no, that's on you. That's entirely on you. Like, you're being irresponsible. So, of course, I use it as varnish. I'm very curious when I'm older. Very curious to see how the paintings actually have been affected. After, let's say, I don't think after 20 years would be enough. Maybe after 40, 50, well, 40, 50 years. I'm not going to live for 40, 50 years. So,
Maybe
yeah. So,
you're
Danny,
going
just let me
to.
know. Let me
No,
know.
don't say
Have
that.
a seance and just let me know. It's like, hire a witch and be like, your paintings are ruined, you idiot.
So Lich was saying you would
Yo,
need
lich.
acid to dilute
Yeah.
it. So,
Yeah, that's not good. So, yeah. I mean,
mm,
so we're going to do a very very thin, very very thin layer of liquid here. And again, just to roughly establish our values, we're going to mass in our darker shapes. And we're going to try, I mean, this is not like a full underpainting in the sense that we're not going to try to do a ton of value differences here. I'm more interested in just differentiating my lighter shapes from my darker shapes and just massing in those darker shapes. And that's about it.
um, wishlist 011
Yeah.
was asking, how do you end up with so much of it dried around the neck of the bottle? Are you pouring it out right?
So I'm an idiot. And when I sometimes use it, I'll just pour a little bit on the cap. Right now I didn't. I just poured a ton on the side of my palette. Probably more than I need. So, or let's say that I don't use that much. I sometimes just I will just scrape this off, and instead of putting it into the little bottle, I'll just put it on the cap again, and then I just flip the cap and try to screw it, but I won't screw it all the way because I'm lazy. So I'm guessing that all the liquid that's on the cap, it just seeps out very, very slowly, and that's how you get that almost like geographic just sense of what liquid would look like if you were to just let it sit, you know, in outside and never put that cap on. But yeah, I think it's very nice, geologic.
Um, Sergio G
Mm-hmm.
was saying, hi Nico and Danny. Are you planning to render the little weave, is it?
Yeah.
Detail in the sofa? What are you
Oh,
seeing in your
so
head?
not gonna try to do that. I don't have the ability. and I don't have the personality, I think,
And I mean,
or the time.
yeah, I was gonna say that it would
Yeah, yeah,
be.
yeah. But the time, Danny, if we say the time, it would give maybe an idea that if we had the time, I would be able to do that.
Oh no, and you
And
would
I know
never.
myself, and even if I had the time, it just wouldn't interest me at all. I mean, I'd much rather deal with it as an abstract moment of the painting rather than thinking that I'm responsible for doing all that texture. So yeah, oof, that would be tough. I'm not saying that that's not an interesting part of the painting. I just don't think that I would be the painter to try to do a painting about those things.
Alejandro Morales was saying, "Hi everyone, hi Nico and Danny.
¿Qué hubo, Alejandro?
Nico, do you print the reference photo or do you use directly from the screen? I find it extremely difficult to paint from a computer screen."
Oh, I'm using my cell phone. So I have it on my cell phone, and I usually don't zoom in that much, Alejandro. So it's I don't know. I just got used to doing that, and I actually like to I'll only zoom in if I know that everything else that I want in terms of the wholeness of my image is working already. So I'll let you.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm watching on my
Oh,
phone.
and we could see you,
You could see on
your
the reflection.
reflection. Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah, I see you. I see
Am I
your.
bobbing around?
No, but
Yeah.
now you look like in
And an
how,
idiot.
no, like the what's that? Like a fun house, maybe?
Oh, like Funhouse Mirror?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you looked a little bit distorted. So,
No, that's just me. That's just how I look, Danny. You've
um,
never accepted it. That's what I look like.
um, Thomas Golunski
Hey, Tommy.
was saying, throw the bottle into some boiling water and it will liquefy the dried liquid.
Oh, no way. Really? I didn't know that.
Because I mean, you have like, a, I don't know, like a quarter of the bottle there
Yeah,
outside. Like,
that's quite a bit. You could fill another bottle with that.
yeah.
But I didn't know that. So, Tommy, and by the way, Tommy, tell me if because I usually go for Tommy, but is it Tommy or Thomas? So, whatever, however you want me to call you, I'll do that. But uh, do you know that for a fact, or are you just like suppose like you're thinking that it should do that just out of sheer temperature? Because I don't know, when this thing like liquid, like dried liquid, I don't even know what dried liquid is, to be honest. I don't even know if it's still an alkyd, which is super like above my pay grade to try and understand. I've read about it. It's not easy to understand what an alkyd is, to be honest. If anyone out there just knows way more chemistry than I do, um, just please, and if you want to explain it like super simply, that would be awesome.
So they were saying they prefer Tommy,
Awesome.
and they haven't answered the other part of your question. So,
Okay, okay.
um, Alejandro Morales was saying, "Thanks, Nico. My question is more about the color mixing because the screen is emitting light. I cannot get the colors in the palette."
Oh, right, right, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Competing against an RGB screen and the luminance from an RGB screen. Yeah, there's no way. No way. But you know what makes it a little bit easier? Knowing that all of painting is an interpretation, all of it. All of it. I mean, all you're doing is interpreting like a stimuli. So, um so when you come to terms with that and you just say, yeah, it's all about interpretation, then you can cut yourself some slack and be okay with saying, I'm not meant to be competing, with this screen. I'm just meant to be using what the screen is providing me with, like the information the screen is providing me with, and then turning it, into a painting. If that's my my intent.
So Tommy said, "Yeah, I've cleaned up bottles like that, and you can get the last drops out of the bottom if it gets hot."
No way. That's awesome. That's really awesome.
So while you were drawing,
Yeah.
people were making some questions, so I'm gonna go back.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So when you were talking about the camera,
Yes.
the lenses,
Right. Right. Right.
Ronar was saying, "Hello, Danny and Nicolas. The 28 millimeters would cause more distortion.
A little bit. Yeah.
Does OBS correct for that?"
Um. Do you remember? Oh yeah, there's a filter, right,
Yeah, I
Danny?
think
Do
we
you remember
can.
we tried it once with the
Yeah, yeah,
GoPro?
yeah.
Yeah, there's a filter that you can get.
Is it an OBS? Like,
It
is it
was an
available?
OBS.
Oh,
No,
was it?
yeah, cause what else? Oh, or was
No.
it when you were
Yeah,
editing?
it was when I was
Oh no,
editing.
it was
So,
in what's the software? I always
uh,
forget the software. Sorry.
Final Cut Pro.
So it was for Final. Right, 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 right. I don't think there's, or maybe we can look into it to
No,
see
but
if
I
there are
think we
visual, if
can.
there are like filters.
Yeah, yeah, I think we can. And here, like, I'm seeing the tabs in OBS that says filter. So we have
Maybe.
to like dig a little bit
Yeah, we'll
to
look into
find
that.
something. So
But if it's distorted, oof, I mean, we'll deal with that distortion. I know that that barrel distortion can be a little bit painful, but um, you know, it's unas por otras, how we say in Spanish.
in
Like
Spanish.
in Spanish,
Oh,
unas
oh
por
no, no, no.
otras.
Sí, no, sí,
In
pensé que decías
Spanish,
like how can we translate that? So,
good comes with the bad, I guess. Maybe that's the expression, I guess.
mm, so Liad was asking about the camera.
Hey, Liat.
They said, what kind of lens is it?
The one
Maybe
that
the
we
one that,
currently have, or
yeah.
the one that we're thinking of getting.
No, I think it was the one that we have because you mentioned that we were interested in a 28 millimeter.
So we have a Sonar, a Sony Sonar. It's a very nice lens, to be super honest. It's super sharp. It's crazy, crazy sharp. I don't think we're able to really showcase the sharpness because we don't really work in under great lighting conditions. So obviously, a lens is always going to be super sharp. If it's on a tripod, if you're shooting photographs, or if you have enough light, and you don't really depend on the uh, the ability of the camera and the lens to be open enough to let enough light in. Which this is a 1.8. This is Sonar 55 f1.8, which is amazing. F1.8 is wonderful, and you also are depending on the camera sensor to be super super sensitive to available light, which the Alpha 7, the Sony Alpha 7 III is like incredible at that. To be honest, it's amazing. And it's actually been really, I guess, grateful to us because we've been so not working with like a consistent lighting
Yeah.
condition and good enough lighting that it's incredible that we're able to get videos out of the little bit of light that we have. But my defense, which is not really a defense at all, but I'm just used to working with just the little bit of available light, available natural light that I have. So I have a window right in front of me. So in this direction, there's a window. I would say it's a big window.
Yeah.
Um, and we have two lights bouncing off the ceiling. So, and this is headed. This is looking east.
Yep.
So, you know, in the afternoon, sometimes we get this weird thing where the sun is, down here in the west, and it'll just bounce off some of the buildings that are in front of us,
Yeah,
and
like
we'll
the
just get like
windows.
and we'll just get like a super nice kind of orangey glow light.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But
Yeah, but
for Danny
yeah,
when
for
for
recording it's not
Danny
that
when
good.
she's editing and correcting,
Color, yeah.
uh,
It's
just the
hail.
white balance while she's doing the editing, she hates it.
Yeah.
Because she does an incredible job at trying to separate clips, and then she will try to just average them out as much as she can. But sometimes it's like it's super cool, then it goes neutral, and then it goes super warm, and then neutral
Yeah.
again. And that's just a painting session here in Bogota. I mean, to be quite honest, it's actually quite wonderful because that's how our light behaves. So it's kind of nice, it's kind of. a nice reflection about what our light feels like and what our light looks like when we're painting, which I think it's really nice. But again, for doing videos, yeah, we should just
Terrible.
put our blinds down and have like strong enough light either bouncing off the ceiling, like two big soft boxes just bouncing off the ceiling, which our ceiling is white. It's painted white. So, and all the walls are painted white. So we wouldn't have any color cast. Um, or we just point them down at the painting, which is a little more difficult to try and work out because
It
you're gonna
would
get a ton
glare,
of
no?
yeah you're gonna get a ton of glare.
Yeah.
And the only way you're not gonna get glare is if you put some polarizing filters on top of the light, like in front of the light, and you have that same polarizing filter for your lens, a circular polarizing filter for your lens, or linear, depending on what the sheets are. But I think the sheets you can only get linear polarizers.
But
So
also,
you would have to get. I'm sorry, Danny. Let
no,
me
it's
finish
okay.
that, and
Yep.
you can go ahead. So you'd have to get matching polarizing sheets and a polarizing filter for your lens. That's a lot of money. That's like it doesn't seem like it, but that's a lot of money. Those sheets can cost quite a bit of money, and they have to cover your whole light source. So yeah, perfect lighting condition is quite expensive. It's actually quite expensive. You can minimize your glare with just a regular filter on your lens, but it won't do the same as if your light source was already polarized. So yeah, maybe if we start doing better, I guess. I mean, we're doing amazing. I don't
Yeah.
want it. I don't want that to sound
No,
like
and we have
we're
a
not
good
grateful.
quality
Yeah, we
right
have a
now. Like a good
good
setup,
camera. I
everything.
mean, the most important thing was good camera, good lens. To be honest, we could get what could we make it? How could we make it this better? Like good internet would help for
Yeah.
sure if we're
But
streaming.
I mean, the stream has always been green, which
Right.
means excellent connection. So
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
we're good in that too.
Yeah, which always means Samu has to play offline,
Yeah.
and we have Fer just watching a movie that I downloaded, and it's playing off of a USB.
Yeah.
So we're not using
No
any
Wi
internet.
Fi. Yeah.
Nobody can breathe internet right now. Uh, but yeah, but if we can probably make a couple of variables a little bit better. So we'll see. We'll see if we invest because the investments are high. Like that lens is probably around like $900. That Tamron lens. If we wanted to get like a wide zoom, like a wide zoom from Sony, they're far more expensive. So third party can work well, but still it's expensive. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. That's expensive. Lights would be a little expensive too. Again, if we're going like full, beautiful surface, like no glare, those filters, trying to get filters that are big enough, that's going to be a little expensive too. So yeah, it all kind of adds up. So we'll see. We'll um, try to find a good medium, I guess, a good happy medium.
So Tommy was saying you could look at the Samyang 35 millimeters 1.4. I got
Okay.
that for the Alpha 7 III, and it's
Awesome.
a great lens.
Oh, dude, awesome.
So let me just, I'm gonna copy this.
Oh,
So
awesome,
maybe
Tommy.
we can
Yeah,
look for it.
you know what I was thinking of the zoom because I'm worried that if we have another fixed lens, then we're just going to be struggling again. If if I'm going to paint, for example, I think I'm going to start to paint bigger next year, bigger as in like easel paintings. So I'm hoping that the lens that we can get for some of these kind of table paintings can also work for that without being too cumbersome to try and get the whole painting or part of the whole painting while I'm working on it. So just trying to find like what the best of all of those worlds would be. But yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
Yeah, and Tommy was also saying, Danny, I sent you a link via Insta about the lights. Thank you so much. I'm just opening it, but I think it's not available here, like for Colombia.
What does it say?
No, it says currently unavailable in your location. So
Oh, does it directly like look at your
yeah, because it
IP?
says Amazon
Oh,
UK, so maybe I'm gonna look for it in the Amazon US,
yeah.
and maybe we can ship them directly because I mean, if we buy them in the United States, I think it would be a little bit hard to ship them here.
So they're not super those yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're
Those are
big.
super nice. Those LED panels, yeah, they're super nice. Those are really nice. What are you doing to Tommy, what are you doing to polarize that light? Just a filter on your lens and that's it? Are you bouncing that light off the ceiling
Yeah, they were
or
saying I got these lights and have them pointed at my ceiling.
oh,
So,
okay, cool.
and about the lens, they were
Yeah.
saying I can fit in an 80 centimeter by 80 centimeter painting
Oh,
into
cool.
a
In a
shot.
35?
Yeah, with this with the 35. So,
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's good. Good. Excellent. Thanks for all those bits of information.
and Liad was saying, have you tried a circular polarized lens filter?
Yeah, that's what we're not using now because it's not so terrible when the surface is like super absorbent. At the beginning, oh, you can actually tell that even in photos that we took of the paintings of the some of the first paintings we did, there's a ton of glare because I just couldn't get rid of that glare because we got the lens, we got the camera, but for some reason, I don't know. Do you remember why? It was just probably me just being
What?
dumb and I just didn't get what I knew I was supposed to that we were gonna need. But at the beginning, we didn't have the polarizing
Yeah.
filter, so I had to order it, and it probably took maybe 3 weeks to get here, 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, and yeah. So the first paintings, if you watch the videos and if you look at the photos that we uploaded, they all have like quite a bit of glare because we just couldn't get rid of that glare without the filter. So
Mm, Callum was saying, hey guy,
hey,
I'm currently doing a painting. I don't know where to begin with the eyes. How do you make them look less dead with a limited palette? I can send paint to Danny on Insta if that helps. Thanks.
yeah, I mean, sure. It's probably easier to take a look at it. So yeah, Danny's gonna
Yeah.
Danny's inbox is gonna just be, hey, this is what I'm having for
Yeah.
dinner.
Show Nicholas, please.
Yeah.
Liad was saying, I wonder if Nicholas ever thought about doing another video where he talks with or interviews other artists.
Yeah, we you know what? The thing is I always have this position, but and I usually like to have, a conversations with like super cool artists, but they are usually busy, and which means that they won't give me like a specific timeline um or schedule. So it's always like, oh, just remind me in a couple of weeks that if we can fit this in. And I remind them, and at some point I feel like I'm just being annoying if I just write to them too much. But yeah, I love to have conversations with artists. It's amazing. So yeah, for sure next year, because we did have a couple of really cool people planned, and it just hasn't. I'm not gonna say it didn't work out. Let's just say it hasn't worked out yet. But I'm just gonna keep gently pushing to see if we can get them on board again. But again, that's just the nature of our job, I guess. Sometimes maybe the schedule could be easy for me, but it doesn't mean that it's easy for them. They're probably, working super hard on what they're doing. So we have to subject ourselves to the time that they have available.
So Samara was asking, what is a polarizing filter?
It's just let me see.
So
We can make a good example. I think they're on to your left, Danny.
yeah. Do you want to show them
Yeah,
or
I'll
do
show
you want
them.
me to?
No, I'll show them because I think, yeah, let's not break it.
Tiene la tapa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see if this works. So this is a filter, and it has a ring, in the front of the filter. So if you change it, it actually has like carved little lines. Well, this one's a circular, so there are concentric circles in the glass. And if you move them, sometimes they'll cancel out the light that's actually bouncing off of your surface. The light that just reflects on your surface, it cancels that out. But let me see if this works, because sometimes it'll. Is it working, Danny? Like it blacks out the phone. No?
No.
But let me see. Let me move it, because I know that there's a point.
Like it's a little bit darker,
There's
but
a point
not
where
black.
it just totally darkens it. No?
No.
Not yet? Fuck.
Maybe we're failing with you.
No. Let's do it until we can get it. No?
Nope.
Fuck me. Really?
Really?
The other day we were showing the phone and it was so dark. How about that?
Nope.
Fuck, Jesus. Let me see. Let me see if I could do it here. Just I mean, it'd be a lot easier if I could just let me see. Okay, there we go. There we go. I was doing it the other way. No, let me see. It's just that. There we go. Let me see.
Yep.
There we go. Can you see that? That's awesome. So depending on, and I can't do it. And then I just twisted it. Yeah, I'm just making a mess. See, and I just twisted it a little bit, that ring, and now you can see through it.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, dumb way to explain it, but yeah, that's what good filters do. And I think this is a good one. I actually bought like a good one, which is probably around, I forget now, $60 maybe. One of the good ones. Yeah. But if you already spend like a bunch of money on a lens, don't spend little money on a filter, because it wouldn't make sense.
So Callum, who was asking about the eyes,
Yep.
They said, "Thanks, guys. Danny sent you the painting and my dinner."
Oh, God.
So here's the painting
like
for you to
quickly.
see.
Okay, but Callum, you can't just avoid the eyes as if they were a mask. You got to paint those eyes like from the beginning. At least that's how I was taught. I'm repeating the stuff that I was taught, and I'm just trying to use the same assertiveness my teacher would speak to me with when saying like, "Hey, dude, you're not painting a mask. You can't just paint. I mean, you obviously can, but it's not cool if you leave, these kind of, spaces for eyes and you're modeling the rest of your face. No, you gotta find a way to make those bits belong to the all the other values that are surrounding the portrait that you're painting. So never leave them empty like that. No, not never. I hate to sound absolutist about the things that I say, but I think if you're struggling, so let's say this better. I think that if you're struggling, it means that you're still struggling a little bit in trying to recognize how to make them an integral part of the face. So if you're struggling to make them feel part of the face, then it serves no purpose that you are actively separating them from the rest of your painting. So I hope that that's making sense. So first thing I would do is just to tell you, stop it. Like, don't leave those empty kind of shapes for the eyes that you will get into later. If you're painting a nose, if you're painting a mouth, there's no reason why you shouldn't be, capable of just blocking in an eye, And always think, again, this is super simple. It's obviously way more evident when you're using like, top-down light. So light that's coming. Danny, can we see up here or no?
Nope.
No? So light that's coming from above and going down, which echoes the light that we're most familiar with, which is the sun, sunlight. So what happens naturally with the way we perceive ourselves is that our eye sockets are accentuated. So that, that kind of space where that eyeball just sits in is really, really important when we are painting eyes. Even if, you're shooting like flash photography and you're just totally flooding with light that eye socket, like filling it with light, you have to be conscious of that eye socket. So a lot of it is just understanding the shape of that brow and then how it goes down. And then this lower lid is actually super, super important because it also speaks about that, you know, kind of like those limits of that lower part of that eyeball. So yeah, but first things first, let's not avoid it. If you're painting a portrait, you have to, you know, deal with all those elements at the same time. It just can't be like, yeah, I was painting the mouth first, and then, you know, tomorrow I'll paint the eyes, and then I'm going to leave them like voids. No, try to get that out of your system, because that's usually never works. When you see people doing that, it's usually the people that do photorealist work, and what they do is they'll transfer their drawing, they'll project their drawing onto the surface. And if you have like a super, super tight, super accurate, and I'm doing quotes here, accurate drawing, that certainly can help you, because the drawing is going to, you know, be like scaffolding. So even if you leave it like super empty, if you have like all those change in planes, and if you have like all that structure spelled out underneath, then I mean, it takes effort to get lost. But I think that, you know, strong painting, you know, and by strong painting, I mean the type of painting that I usually respond to, which is, you know, this kind of beautiful tradition of realist, you know, naturalist painting throughout centuries. They didn't need all that stuff. Didn't need to project their drawing. They certainly transferred their drawings in some way many times, but they didn't need all those aids, and they were able to produce just lively, beautiful portraits in particular. So I would say that that yeah, only if you have like an incredibly strong drawing underneath, I would do that. But I would just I would, you know, maybe right now I would tell you, hey, don't do that. Like, I think you're a strong enough painter, good enough that you can force yourself and push yourself to just figure those things out while you're painting. That would be my honest advice. Hope that sounds okay. That didn't sound too mean.
Cutting James dice, ¿siempre se debe aplicar un color base de ese tono ocre?
No, no, no. Este no es un ocre, este es una tierra. Pero no, no siempre, no siempre. Esto es más como súper tradicional en la pintura. Esto viene como de pintura, diría yo, como renacimiento alto y barroco 100%, y es una tradición como que se mantuvo por muchísimos siglos, se mantiene todavía cuando uno quiere ir achicando, acortando el espacio entre un dibujo, que es, digamos, estas marcas iniciales que hice con ese lápiz de color, y hacer como una especie de puente al acto pictórico, o sea, cuando vamos a aplicar pintura. Entonces, el hecho de que tengamos esta especie como de aguada en donde se están solucionando, o al menos planteando los valores tonales que van a ser parte de la imagen a grandísimos rasgos. De nuevo, no es una cosa como tallada en piedra, decía yo al comienzo, pero al menos está, o sea, ya en esta etapa, por lo menos en términos de valor tonal, nosotros ya debemos saber cómo es la imagen que vamos a pintar. O sea, ya debemos tener un sentido acerca del carácter de la imagen, de la naturaleza de la imagen que vamos a pintar. Entonces, es simplemente eso. Se hace como para ir acortando cada vez más el espacio, para cuando uno introduzca, digamos, la pintura. Por la pintura me refiero ya a los pigmentos. Pues haya un grado de certeza acerca de la dirección de la pintura, acerca de la dirección que va a tomar la pintura.
So Callum answered to your advice.
Yeah.
And they say, I completely understand what you mean. I think I wait too long and they become disconnected.
Yes.
In all honesty, I have no art training and most of my knowledge comes from a year of your videos.
Oh, dude.
So
amazing.
So I always
Who's your teacher?
So I always appreciate any advice you guys can give.
Oh, dude, that's awesome though. You're doing amazing for no art training. That's super, super cool. Do you have Callum? Is by any chance, where you live, you don't have to say where you live. That's totally fine if you don't want to. But um, you should check and see if there's open live painting, nights in some studios. Some of them are directed. I mean, some of them will have like a painting teacher or a painter just directing it in some way. And other times it's just you show up and you pay a couple bucks, usually just to pay for the model, and then maybe some bucks go into the person that is putting that kind of workshop or open, life painting workshop together. Um, and that's super cool. That's super super cool. You could totally balance what you're doing with attending some of those open nights or days, whatever time usually those go for. So I think I'm almost done with this. I think I'm taking way too much time with this.
Tia was asking, may I know where to get the filter lens and what's the brand of the brush Nicolas is using?
Oh, so those are two very different things, and the price point very different also. So, so I don't like. I mean, admitting it, but we have to use Amazon. I know a ton of people have issues with Amazon. Me too. I mean, one of the things I hate Amazon the most is just the wages and just the overall kind of treatment that they give to the people that work there. The working hours are horrendous. So I never ever I never take pleasure in ordering things through Amazon. The thing is, like, if we need to get some of these things here, it's usually like the surest bet for us to order it through Amazon. Other places can take way, way too long, or shipping rates can be super expensive.
Or
Or
maybe we can even ship
yeah,
things
or
here.
for things
So
to be shipped here, they just won't even do it. So, for example, Danny always has to find the option for her stuff to be shipped here directly to Colombia, which actually,
by Amazon, yeah.
yeah, which actually shortens the possibilities like tremendously.
Yeah.
So yeah, so both. Well, so the filter, you'll have no problem finding it either on B&H Photo or what other place have I bought camera stuff from? Adorama. I don't even know if they're in business still, or Amazon. But for sure, if I mean, if you live in a big city, and if you have a camera shop, maybe you could do it through them. What's important is that you have to check the ring size, because every lens has a different circumference. So the circumference, no, like
Yeah.
diameter, yeah. But I think they're sold by diameter, maybe. So you just have to check that size that is for your lens, but it's in your lens. So you just have to look at your lens, and it says it right there. And just be sure that you buy the right size, because it's not just one size fits all. So that's the only thing. Oh, and the brush. This you could probably get from a very nice craft store. This brush, I'm sure it's like 10 cents, 10 US cents. I don't think it's more expensive than that. So brush, the brush is just, exceedingly cheap. So
Um,
it's just sharp, very sharp, but it doesn't hold its shape for too long. So it's good for like 5 paintings, I feel.
También relacionado a ese tema,
Sí.
Daniela Botina Gaviria pregunta, ¿qué pinceles estás usando?
Por ahora tengo un sintético plano, un sintético flat. Y este dice Lion Deluxe. O sea, la marca, créeme, no es importante. Los compramos en tiendas donde pues no hay pinceles como chéveres, la verdad.
Sí, no
Entonces,
son, o sea, no son
sí,
como tiendas especializadas de
sí, no son
arte ni nada.
pinceles finos. Acá en Bogotá hay muy pocas tiendas donde uno podría ir, y normalmente los pinceles tienden a ser muy, muy costosos, o sea, exageradamente costosos. Entonces, mejor aprender a usar un pincel así súper barato para pintar, que no tiene nada. Pero ahora voy a empezar a usar pinceles de cerda distintos. Creo que voy a usar unos planos también y un redondo que me pueden servir. Entonces vamos a ver cómo nos va.
I love that Tia just said, Tia was asking about the lenses and the brushes.
Yeah.
And they just said, I just came back from the bathroom. Did I miss the replies to my
Oh,
questions to
dude.
Nicolas?
Oh, you ask tomorrow again, Tia. No, just through Amazon. Just a summary. Brushes, super cheap. Go to any craft store. And the polarizing filter for your lens, you just have to check what the ring size is for your lens and order it through, wherever you order stuff from. It could be Amazon or B&H or, whatever. We're not really backing any one of those stores. We are very brand agnostic here. So just go wherever you usually order from. And just check that size, because not all lenses have the same size. So you can't buy just a regular polarizing filter. And if you're just going to buy one polarizing filter, be sure to look for a circular polarizing filter. Those are a little more effective for painting instead of linear, because you can get those too.
Um, so remember that you were asking Callum where did he live?
Yeah, where he lived. Yep.
Yeah. They said, I live in Bristol, UK.
Okay.
I go to live drawing class once a week.
Oh, dude, awesome.
I'm very lucky to also be friends with Karl Kopinski, and he has been insanely supportive of my work too.
Dude.
Hope to go full time someday.
Dude, that's awesome. I mean, you have one of the most talented. I'm sorry, Danny, I'm not letting you finish. You have one of the most talented drafts persons out there. Just and if you're able to share time with him, that's amazing.
Yeah, no, and they said we'll look
out. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
We'll look out for painting sessions. So this is a little bit late, but Lich said I'd leave those eyes there. Creepy.
Yeah, they're kind of off.
Them.
I know. We'll see.
No, the ones of the sofa.
Oh, oh, that would be cool. Like a sofa with a couple of kind of beastly eyes. Yeah. By the way, I'm changing the value on that sofa. I know there's light here, but I don't want the light to compete with that. And I'm far more comfortable because it seems like the value in her sleeve, in the light of the arm of the sofa, and on Fer's portrait was kind of the same. And I don't know if I'm cool with that. And maybe I'll just keep it mid-tone and maybe a little bit lighter when it gets up here. But I do want to change it a little bit. I'm scumbling paint now. So what scumbling means is that there's not a lot of paint on my brush, I'm sorry. And I'm just kind of, almost like dry brushing it on top of my drawing. So if I'm just pushing paint around, I can actually see my underdrawing still a little bit. I mean, it's not, it's not something really, it's not like my drawing is going to be super, super clear underneath, and I don't know if it shows on camera, but I can see it, which is kind of like the important part.
Yeah, it does show.
Okay, cool.
So
because I changed, sorry, Danny. So that's no. This one was serious.
No, I know.
No, because I changed this value, I got to make this a little bit darker just so it turns. So just wanted to say that.
So.
And no, I'm kidding. That was the last one. The joke ends here.
Irvin Torres was saying, hello, Danny and Nicolas. When was that moment that you figured out you've made it? When you realized you were the artist with enough skill that you wanted to be? Any advice for how to get there faster?
Oh, don't. Well, first of all, I don't even know what making it means. So we would have to have like another conversation in trying to understand what making it means. Because I think, if I have to be honest, dude, this was, what was their name?
Irvin Torres.
So Irvin, so if I have to be super, super honest, I think one of the major issues with us as artists is that we are way too hard on ourselves because we have unrealistic expectations of what it means to make it. I mean, I remember when I was young, very young, and I was in New York and thinking that making it meant working at at a cool gallery in New York. And that was not going to happen. I mean, this is like 25 years later, there's a gallery in New York that's Sugarlift, which is pretty cool, that's asking me if I would want to show at their gallery, which is really cool. And I haven't answered them yet because I'm an idiot and I have to do that. Um, but like 25 years later, dude, that's like crazy. And I haven't, I haven't even like begin to thought like begin begun to thought begin to thought begin to think of what I would do if I were to show up there. So I don't know. I think my what made me be more comfortable with myself as an artist was changing that definition of making it. Was really understanding that didn't really mean anything. That the only thing that I was gaining from those unrealistic expectations was just putting a ton of pressure on myself, like completely unnecessary pressure on myself. And because I was thinking that the goalpost was so far away, I maybe wasn't really, I was blind to the cool things that were happening at those moments. So I just think that that's a very I'm not saying that this is you, dude, so please don't take it the wrong way, but I think it's a very unhealthy thing when we try to define, usually making it, but just either attaching it to ability because, woof, I mean, that's super tough. There's always going to be somebody who's better than us in terms of ability. There's always somebody, always. So you're always gonna kind of find a reason to think, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough. I have to push. I have to push. I have to push. And you could spend your whole life pushing and you're not going to be spending it making the stuff that you want to do just because you're just convincing yourself that you're just not good enough to make that painting that you want to paint. You can always say, oh, I'm going to, when I'm good enough, I have all these ideas that are going to be so cool, but not now because they would be wasted on me because I can't, I just can't execute them. So no, 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 that's going to come later. That's going to come later. And it's so easy to justify ourselves through that really weird way of thinking, or to just justify our inaction through that kind of what's the word I'm looking for? God, I forget now. Um,
¿Cómo es en
like
español?
tripping. No, no, no. I was thinking of something that just trips you up, like the way of a way of thinking that just completely trips you up. It just does impedes you from advancing forward. So yeah, the most important thing is to just say, you know what, I'm gonna make paintings that will speak about this moment of my life. And maybe during this moment of my life, yeah, I'm not at the place that I want to be, but it doesn't matter. I'm still gonna try to make the best damn painting that I'm capable of painting. If other people are at other moments of in their career, yeah, great. Like as I always say, just celebrate them. Just be happy for them. I'm not saying that you don't, dude, Irvin. So again, don't take this personally. I'm just using what you asked as an example, but I'm not talking to you personally. But yeah, we should just celebrate those people and be happy and cool. That's it. And then we just keep moving. And if it means if it means that we want to just push harder in terms to try to get better in terms of our ability, great. But again, that shouldn't impede us from making the paintings that we want to paint. If we have like cool ideas, execute them. Like do it to the best of your ability. Doesn't matter if that's not the painting you envisioned, because that feeling is always going to be there. Not being able to paint the painting that we envisioned, that is like bread and butter for us artists. So that feeling is never going to change. So when you ask me, oh, that you finally got to the point where your ability, where you're okay with your ability. I don't think I'm okay with my ability. I'm accepting of my ability, instead of feeling like, okay, I'm good, instead of thinking like, hell yeah, now I know that I can paint this, so let's get to painting. I just think I'm far more accepting of where I am.
So,
And I think that makes a huge difference. So,
so Irvin was saying, I mean, making it to your own satisfaction, not money or fame, but when you were happy with yourself, like you're happy at a level for the road ahead.
But I think that that can happen, at every stage of your life, or at whatever stage you feel you are. I think that that can happen, very early in your career, and it doesn't mean that you're not going to push forward, that you're not going to try to get better, whatever, however you define better for yourself. But yeah, you should always. I mean, I think that with every painting, there should always be a feeling of satisfaction. So you should always kind of finish a painting and say, "Hell yeah, I did this. This was cool. Like I finally did this painting." And but that doesn't mean you're complacent. That doesn't mean that you're just telling yourself it's perfect and it's amazing and you're incredible and look at you in the mirror, like you're the artist that you always wanted to be. You're there, you got there. No, no, no. You just tell yourself, you push through this painting, you were able to um, solve it as best as you could, and then you should be critical. But I don't think I think that you can do both. I think that we tend to favor the part where we're overly critical about ourselves, and we tend to shy away from seeing all the good that actually is an inherent part of our painting. So I think that for us to be happy, satisfied, and so that we can wake up the next morning and keep pushing ourselves, we have to find that super, super right balance of, again, challenging ourselves, but not putting enough like strain on ourselves, or enough unrealistic expectations that we really can't execute a painting like, based on our sensibility and our ability and our knowledge and our past experience. We're always going to only be able to paint things that we can paint, and there's always going to be a ton of things that escape us. Tons of things. For me, there's, I don't know, I mean, off the top of my head, I could think of tons of aspects of my painting that need so much work that I'm sure that even though I could just push myself to paint, a very particular subject matter, it would still be very tough to do. It would still be a very, very tough experience for me. So, yeah, I just think that, you know, try to search for that really beautiful place where you are satisfied, but you want more. And, next morning, you're going to wake up and you just want to paint again. If painting becomes this thing where it's just pointing at you and making you feel stupid constantly, who's going to want to paint the next day? It just doesn't make sense. So you have to find that beautiful, beautiful kind of zone where, you know, it's you're pushing yourself, you're trying to get things that are beyond your reach, but they're not so far off that you're constantly going to be interpreting them as failures. So yeah, that would be my advice. I know it's sounds a little bit abstract, but I think it's helpful. At least it's helpful for me. I've noticed that mindset for me is far more important than actual kind of development in my ability.
So Liad was saying, I used to think that making it is being as good as Sargent, Lindecker, or Frazetta combined,
Oh,
but
dude,
also
you picked tough ones, Liat.
but also being something that no one else has ever seen before and guaranteeing my place in the history books.
Yeah, upper echelon, like pantheon of painters. I wonder, and how do you feel now? Because I think you started by saying I used to. So how do you feel now, Liat? Because yeah,
Um
I think those are super tough. I mean, if you put Sargent as your, first expectation, that's like, okay, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be really tough to deal with.
so they were asking, I'm sorry, I don't know how to read the username, so because I mean it's not in the Latin alphabet, so
Oh, okay.
I don't know
Is it
how.
Cyrillic or?
No, I don't know.
Let me see. Maybe I can see it. Oh, I don't even have my glasses.
Wait.
No.
So super zoom.
Oh my God.
Wait, wait.
Are we like 500% here?
Now I don't know. Wait.
Yeah, where are you now?
This one?
Yeah, that's Russian.
Yep.
It's Cyrillic, so.
So they were saying, uh, I think like I'm pushing the best that I can in uni, but I don't have energy to draw what I want. And still, my uni teacher is saying I'm not good enough.
Oh, come on. I mean, sometimes not. I'm not saying come on to you, dude. I'm just saying, uh, it's so frustrating when you get pushed beyond your limits. Because ideally, you should always be able to paint what you want. I mean, it should never be like art school or uni should never be so draining and so consuming that when you get home, you go like, I just don't want to paint anymore. No, ideally, you know how those people that work in concept art that for video games or animation industry, have you seen that when they have lunch breaks, they go out and paint? Or they say, "Oh, this was my lunch break painting." And sometimes you go like, "What the hell, dude? Like you've been working all morning, you're probably exhausted, and for lunch break, you want to paint?" And the reason they do that is because they're painting the things that they want to paint. So they'll develop a character that they want to develop for a story, you know, for maybe a personal story, or they just want to study light. They you know, a lot of these incredible artists, they try to study art or materials, or I'm sorry, light, or the way materials behave when lit. Um, it's incredible. It's incredible. So ideally, like your job or you know university or the art school is lenient enough that they can just give you enough feedback to, yes, you know, you're meant to answer to those classes and your teachers, but it's also they're giving you information that you can actually apply outside of the class. So when you want to do your own paintings, you know, you're like super excited to bring all that experience that you've had in the class to your own paintings. So I'm really sorry if that's not happening. Try to we with Danny we've spoken quite a bit about this in other um
Streams,
lives,
yeah.
yeah, but try to find a way to make things your own, to sell those ideas to your teacher so that you don't really feel exhausted, because you're the worst thing that can happen is that you start resenting your schooling, because maybe hopefully there's enough good in there that you know you can actually take a lot of good stuff out of it. But it'd be really sad if all you're left with is just feeling like, oh, this is horrible. Like I'm drained. I can't. You know, you're gonna start hating the whole of painting when really you're just disliking the way one person or an institution is making you feel about painting. So yeah, try to find a way. I know it's tough. You know, these are just words, but just try to you know push through and try to find a way, because this is what you love, you know, hopefully. I mean, and I don't know if painting, but probably, I mean, if you are stuck with us watching a painting watching a painting live session, painting means something to you, so try to remind yourself of that all the time.
So Liad said, now I feel like that is ridiculous. Ridiculous. I hope there are history books in general, and it's more important to do the best I can and have a fulfilling life now and not worry about what happens when I'm gone.
Yeah, very true, very true.
Mm, so, mm, Mikhail Kimji, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that okay, was saying, what size sketchbook pages do you use?
So these are half of the largest moleskin sketchbook that you can get. And I don't really know what this large moleskin is. It's this size. It won't even fit on our, yeah. So it's that size. I know it's ridiculous doing it this way, but what is this, like A4? I don't even know European sizes. Um, But what is our usual size, Danny? And that let's just
So
multiply by 2. That would be the
I'm
easiest
gonna
thing.
say it in centimeters. It's 29 by 21, so it would be 42 by 29, and I don't know
So the largest
inches.
moleskin is 42 centimeters by 21.
Yeah.
And in inches, just look at our sizes.
Yeah.
I think
So
it's 8.5 by 11.
8 1/4
8 1/4
and
by.
11 1/2.
So 11.5
No, no,
by
no, no, no,
16.
no. 8 1/4.
Yeah. So it would be 11.5 by
Oh,
16. The whole sketchbook
oh,
would be
sorry.
11.5 by 16 and a half. So
Mm, so
I know we're spending time on this seemingly unnecessary bit of space, but it's actually super necessary because this is what's going to kind of reinforce the way that figure is traversing the space. So we have to try and paint these bits cool enough so that they seem like, yeah, that's cool painting, but it's it's secondary painting.
so Beshria was saying currently working on a realistic, and like in quotations, realistic commission work. My reference is quite boring to me. How do you think I can add interest to a presumably boring painting where I'm expected to replicate the photo?
Oh, but I'm going to say something that you're probably not going to like, but if it's a commission, the only thing that a commission is, I mean, the only definition of a successful commission is if the people that are commissioning that painting are happy. That is the only thing. Like, that's the only thing that matters. Trust me on this. I've done plenty of portrait commissions, or like, more, I guess, in terms of themes, just other paintings that are a bit more open, but they still have portrait in them. So but I've done enough of those to understand that if our ego gets in the way, or the way we understand painting gets in the way, or the experience that we've gathered through painting a bunch of paintings gets in the way, will usually end up kind of fighting against that commission, because we start convincing ourselves like, oh, this is really stupid, like I totally know how to make this better, but they want to see it, that way. So ideally, you want to talk things out at the beginning, and you want to be able to visualize what they want, and maybe sell or propose, an idea that can be a little bit closer to how you think something has to be solved or could be better solved. But many times people have their own, their mind set in very specific ways of solving something. And our job in those cases is just to interpret what they want and to try to make the best out of that. And that's really not easy. That is so not easy. So, yeah, maybe making the painting interesting for you is going to make the painting less attractive to them. And if we end up doing that, then that's a terrible commission. So, this is super tough and super annoying, by the way. But and maybe you're right. Maybe um you're gonna try to give them ideas on how to make this a lot better, and they won't see it. Again, maybe you're totally right, but that's not the point. Like, if you can't um, understand a commissioned piece as you would one of your own paintings. It just doesn't work that way. So yeah, I know it's kind of painful to say it out loud, but yeah, if you're gonna do a commissioned piece, you're doing it because either you like painting for other people, or maybe they're paying you better. Usually, commissioned pieces, they are paid handsomely, because people understand that they're doing that they are part of the painting, process. They are getting a painting that's done specifically for them. But that also means that people are going to be like, yeah, well, this is for me. I'm going to I'm going to give my input constantly on this painting. And dude, that can be very, very annoying. Again, if you want that to be part of your job, you just have to get used to that. You really do. Even if people are asking you to paint the most boring thing in the world, like that's your job, to make the most boring things in the world interesting for you.
So Samara was asking, is the paper glued on the surface? If yes, what kind of glue is it?
Oh no, this is my drawing table. So no, it's just taped. Taped to the surface. If I was going to glue it to the surface, oof, it would be a little difficult because paper is very temperamental when you're gluing it. And best way of gluing paper is by wetting it, wetting the whole paper, then taking the excess water off, so that the fibers on your paper are super super swollen, and then you can apply either a acrylic resin, on the back side of the paper and on the front, and you just like then have a roller and just roll uh, the paper on top of whatever surface you're putting it on. You can actually stretch your paper also, which I've done on stretchers. I've done it on stretchers with nothing underneath. I've done it on stretchers that have a canvas backing. Those are all super cool ways of painting on top of paper. But usually, yeah, that would involve anytime somebody says gluing your paper onto a surface. It's better to do it before you paint the image. If you're gonna do it afterwards, oof. I mean, it's best if you just glue it, or if you're willing to glue it and then hope to never have to take it off the surface ever again. So you can use like super strong glues. You can like rubber cement it to a hardboard, let's say, or to a piece of wood. But if you want your adhesive to be if you want to in the future, maybe to have a way to just take your paper off your surface, that's so difficult. It's so difficult. If you don't care, and the painting is done, you can flip it and use spray mount also. I mean, it's not a great thing to do, but it's not a terrible thing to do. So yeah, adhesives are always problematic. Always, always, always.
So Tommy was asking, when was the last commission you took on?
Oh, I think it was a chancellor, right, Danny?
Mm,
Painting the chancellor.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Was it maybe
Oh, that was a long time
four
ago. Like,
years
yeah,
ago?
yeah, yeah. I just don't. And they called me up. Danny knows this.
Yeah.
They called me up again to paint the Minister of Foreign Affairs. So we called them the chancellors in Colombia, chancellors. Uh, and no, I had to say no. I had to say no, thank you. So I just don't. I don't care for those jobs anymore, to be completely honest. Very good money, but a lot of stress. So no, not anymore. Danny was uh, she saw how I gave them a painting. They received the painting.
Yeah.
This was many years ago, but I did a painting. They received the painting. Then some years after receiving the painting,
But like
they
2 years. I
yeah
mean, it was.
yeah they sent it back, and I was like, "What? You've already received the painting?" And I could have just said, forget it. You've already accepted the painting. This is ridiculous. Um, they asked for changes, changes, changes. I tried to make the best. I tried to answer to all the changes that they were asking me for. I made changes,
But also,
and
it wasn't like a little change.
no,
I
it's
mean, they wanted to have a new painting.
yeah. So what ended up happening was, that I had to, I changed it so much that they hated it in the end. and I had to do another image by the it was easier for me to make another image than to just keep changing that image. So I started from scratch.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, those are super annoying, Tommy. I just don't. Again, good money, but I'm not the sort of person that deals well, and not deals well because I mean, I'm not going to be an idiot or not. I'm always like super grateful. I'm always like, thank you for the opportunity. It's an honor to paint this. That's, I'll say the right things, but deep down, I just don't enjoy it at all. And when I was younger, I started doing those because it was, it's kind of cool. And if you go to those, institutions that they're super kind of historic, and to see some of your paintings there, it's kind of nice. But and it's good money. But after a while, I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this. I don't really want to do this. And there's other people that are better than me at doing that. Like a friend of ours has done,
Camilo?
yeah, Camilo has done some paintings for them also, and I think
Yeah.
he's doing the minister of foreign affairs currently. So that's awesome. I'm sure he's going to do a really good job at that. So that's great. If I don't get to do it, nothing makes me happier than knowing that a good friend of ours is painting those paintings.
So this isn't a question, but I think it was super cool.
Okay.
So Dira Van Stipian
Okay.
was saying, "Love to paint. Now I'm 70, and I
Oh,
still
that's so cool.
and still loving to paint, and I still teach."
Oh, that's awesome. That's the life that I would love. Yeah. So that's awesome. You are living the life that I'm hoping I get to live when I'm older. So that's awesome. You give me hope. Thank you.
So Adam was saying, "You've been working on a relatively small scale for a few years now.
No.
How has that impacted your practice? And do you plan to work larger in the future?"
Yeah, I mean, it certainly has impacted it. The way I understand painting and the way I view painting, for sure. How? I don't know. I'm only gonna know that when I start to paint big again. But honestly, I don't think it's gonna be that weird. I mean, I'm a little not nervy about it, but just I know that it's gonna be exciting again, kind of cool again to see bigger paintings, not huge paintings. We're not talking. We don't have the space here to do like
No.
Zoe Frank size paintings, by the way. So we do have to manage our expectations.
Yeah, and
Uh,
also because we would have to record the making of the paintings.
yeah, but we would
So
have to have like a
a
street
field.
street camera
Yeah.
crew, just outside our building, like
Yeah.
painting in the street. Um, yeah. So no, we're gonna try to find a way to make everything work within the variables that we have. But it's gonna be exciting, I feel. Yeah, next year I'm gonna have some of those, and I am pretty sure that I don't know. We've talked with Danny. I don't know if I would want to start by having a physical show somewhere like in a gallery, or if I want to just make some of those larger paintings just available online, which would be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of times people say, "Oh, do a physical show. That's awesome because that's how people can see it." Truth is, like, how many people can see it?
Yeah,
Like,
it limits a lot.
right. If I'm working here in Colombia, and if I show in New York, like nobody in here is going to be able to see the paintings.
Yeah. Or
So
to buy the
yeah,
paintings
right.
if
So
they're
when we
interested.
say like, oh, just show, it's so cool to have a show, like that's a super exclusive thing too. Like that'll never be something that's like for the people. It's going to be for some people,
Yeah.
but it doesn't really mean for the people.
Um,
So let's get to the portrait. Sorry, Danny. Go ahead.
pero ¿ibas a hablar algo?
No, I'm just pumping myself up.
Ah, entonces, Kevin Lancheros
¿Qué
dice,
dice Kevin?
¿cómo es tu relación con el grabado?
Pues ahorita no, pues sí, desafortunadamente, en términos prácticos, pues inexistente, pero en términos de la manera como lo disfruto y lo disfruté y lo importante que fue para el comienzo de mi vida, Suena raro decir artística porque comencé muy chiquito, pero, pero era ese vínculo con mi mamá siendo grabado y era lo que ella me enseñaba, entonces pues es súper, súper bonito para mí. Em, pero sí, de, en términos prácticos, no. Mi mamá incluso fue súper linda y ella donó la prensa de grabado de ella, que era una prensa de pliego, la donó a la Javeriana. Entonces, una de las prensas que los estudiantes vuelven mierda en la Javeriana
Sí.
es una prensa que era de mi mamá. Entonces es muy, muy bonito.
Um, so when you were talking about the commission,
Sí.
Squares, see,
Ah, yes.
Squares was saying
Yes.
you weren't paid or a contract. After 2 years, they could still ask for changes.
Well, since I had done a lot of work for them, they already knew me. So contracts are great until you have a relationship with the people that you're working with, and because you have a somewhat personal relationship with them, they feel like they can ask you anything. So yeah, it would make sense that if you have a contract, you just don't do any of those things again. Like if you accept something, it's done. Like the contract is over, right? But again, real life is a little more complicated than that. So,
Mm, so when you
and I
were,
have to say they paid me super well for that portrait. So, I know we're not supposed to feel compelled to do those things just because they pay us well, but I don't know. That's what I did.
yeah,
But
but
I
I
felt
think
it
that,
was completely unfair. I
yeah,
mean,
because they paid for one painting and you
right,
ended
right.
up doing like one painting like again and again and again, and after that you did a whole new painting. So
Yeah.
I don't know. So Callum was saying, what about our show in New York where we all buy each other's painting for one
Oh, for
million
$1 million?
dollars
That show will happen
when we get a
when
million
we get a
dollars?
million dollars and a lot of people that also have $1 million, and then we can do that, and then we can feel like smartasses and not sell anything ultimately. So that would be a terrible show. It would be a statement show. Statement.
um, so Dylan Shao says, how do you prime your paper?
No, I don't. I don't. I paper. I paint on raw paper. So some people find that super terrible. I find it beautiful. So yeah, I don't know.
Ananya was asking, um,
Ananya. You say Ananya, and I think of Rihanna.
it
Ananya,
says, oh,
what's your name?
Nana,
That's
what's my name?
I know.
What's my name? Yeah.
I don't even know the
What's,
lyrics, but
yeah.
I think of Rihanna. So sorry. Go ahead.
So Ananya was saying,
Are you thinking about that now?
no,
Now that I said
I
it?
was like, I did a little pause because I thought that you were going to sing again.
No, no, no. But
So
now are you
let's
thinking it?
repeat.
Maybe now?
Ananya was saying,
Are you thinking it now?
no, 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 I'm not. So they were saying, I always draw what I see rather than go with my instinct. Any advice on how I can do the later? Thanks.
That's so tough. You have to kind of like again turn expectations off and say this is going to be a new way of understanding how I perceive things, or maybe my painting is not going to answer so much in terms of how I can faithfully depict what I'm observing, but I'm going to now start to understand or construct the way I perceive, which in itself is like super super interesting if you think about it. So um yeah, you just have to, like, your mindset has to be there, because if every time you're trying to do that, you're just gonna kind of walk it back because you feel you're kind of straying away from nature, then that's always going to be tough for you. That's always going to make it tough for you. So you have to be 100% in it, like 100% convinced. So maybe that's what's missing a little bit, just you convincing yourself that this is something that's super valuable also.
Mm, So I lost the question. So when you were talking about the tape,
The tape. Which one? I forget now.
when they were asking about how did you attach the paper to your surface, and you were
Oh, okay.
talking
Like
about,
glue and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. Liad was saying double-sided tape would work for a completed painting on paper.
Yeah, yeah, also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It does bunch up a little bit. I mean, it's again, if you're not too worried about what's going to happen to your paper, or if you just say I love it, I'm going to commit to the attachment of this paper to this surface, and you're okay with it, you're totally okay with that, then yeah, the possibilities are far larger. If you are super super careful about being, or you're um, conscious about being archival, that's where it begins to be a little more difficult. That's where you have to. That's where you have to be a little kind of more careful about what you're going to do, or how you're going to go about attaching a paper to a surface, or adhering a paper to a surface.
Yeah, and also I was thinking, but
Yep.
maybe because the double-sided tape is a little bit bulkier,
Right. Right.
would
Right.
need like leave a mark on the paper.
Yeah.
Maybe if
That
you frame it.
exactly. That's what I was thinking. Like,
Yeah,
it just it'll leave that, you'll
like
totally be
bump.
able, right, you'll totally be able to spot that tape from the front of your drawing. I'm guessing, I'm speculating, but I think your instinct is right, Danny, and what I'm thinking of is also right. I mean, I think both of us, Danny, myself, have tried a bunch of ways of mounting stuff,
Yeah.
and uh, at the art faculty, I think we've seen so
Oh
many
yeah.
people just make so many, not mistakes, let's not call it mistakes,
But
but
like
just
risky
so many
decisions.
ways of attaching stuff to other stuff,
Yeah.
that I think that gives you a good idea of what happens when things are not attached that properly. So,
Yeah. So Maria Garnek
mm-hmm.
or Garnek was saying, have you ever considered posting a video of painting still life consisting of multiple objects, as in classical still life with vases, fruits, fabric, etc.? Basic first art class stuff. I'm an art student and hate painting still life. I struggle to make it interesting, and as a result, the paintings are boring. Would love to see how you approach it. Greetings from Poland.
Oh, so dzień dobry, dzień dobry.
Uy,
Yeah, yeah, that's my Polish. That's the extent of my
no
Polish, by the.
sabía que
Sí,
tenías
sí,
eso en
siempre.
tu
Yo tengo,
repertorio.
yo tengo unos guardados que
Sí.
tú no conoces.
¿Cómo es? ¿Cómo es?
Dzień dobry.
Uy.
Sí, so that's
Ujú,
my Polish. What
ujú.
was her name? I'm sorry.
María.
Maria. Um, Maria, I probably wouldn't be able to comfortably paint a very traditional still life, because I mean, I don't find them boring in the sense that I don't think there's people throughout art history that made them amazing. I mean, Chardin is incredible, or Fantin Latour is just amazing. So there are enough people through history that have painted still lifes that are just absolutely incredible, and that teach you that it doesn't have to be boring. And there's people that do contemporary still lifes that I don't think are that boring either. But I probably would have to do a painting that's more in line with my own sensibility. So it's not. I don't think I would ever have a great time just painting a vase just for the sake of painting a vase, or painting some flowers for the sake of painting flowers, or painting some sheets for the sake of painting sheets, or fruit. I don't know. I don't think that those things, just by themselves, excite me enough. So I would probably have to find a way. But I mean, again, there's enough of people out there that if you paint a pile of clothes, or if you paint dirty dishes, or if you paint what is left in your plate after you have lunch, or I mean stuff that has to do much more with just a like a life, that you can sense that life behind the still life, that person, that's living outside that still life. I think that that's super cool to me. That's super super interesting to me. So I'd probably have to make it, something like that. I used to paint my pots and pans and stuff that I used to paint with. I enjoyed those quite a bit, to be honest. So maybe that can also be um, a kind of cool excuse for a still life. I mean, there's so many ways to paint those things that, yeah, it's just finding. Still lives are not just one thing. You just have to fight to find how flowers or how specific subject matter can speak about you.
Mm, so, uh, Dira van Stiprian.
Oh God.
I
Oh my
I
God.
forgot because I think that I did a good job pronouncing it the
When?
last time.
In your head?
No, they were saying I have learned that oil. I know. Sorry, that was it was.
Oh my
Oh
God.
yeah, that
Danny's
was.
breaking down. Breaking down.
I'm a little bit sleepy. I don't know
Oh,
why.
sorry, Danny,
No,
to
not
bore
because of
you.
you.
Yeah, the painting is terrible. So sorry.
They were saying I have learned that oil will make ultimate rotten the paper when you don't prime it. Can you
Sure.
explain, please?
Yeah,
Sorry
sure,
for
sure.
my English.
No, 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 no,
No.
no. That's perfect. Um, sure, yeah, oil or just about anything that is, foreign to those fibers and that gets into those fibers will eventually rot them. Yeah, that's for sure. For sure. That's 100% true. The good thing that we have, or let's say good, is that we have history on our side, at least 100 and let's say 130, maybe 120 years of history on our side, because there's tons of paintings in the beginning of the 20th century and the last and in the end of the 19th century, where artists have painted on top of paper or cardboard, that mostly cardboard, that wasn't primed, and it was just raw piece of cardboard, and the paintings are still really really in good shape. Now those are probably paintings that if you go to museums, they have like super kind of dim lit rooms, like dark rooms, because if light starts hitting those papers, those surfaces, and they will degrade even faster. The fibers will degrade even faster, and the effect of that, of all the heavy metals that the pigments have, and the solvent, if there was solvent, and the varnish, if there was varnish, or any other medium, or the oil, the effect that they're going to have on the paper is going to be exacerbated by that excess of light. So yeah, so if you kind of keep these paintings under conditions that are fairly controlled, you can extend the life of those paintings dramatically. I mean, dramatically. There's a couple of, I mean, not a couple, but I've seen in my life a bunch of Toulouse-Lautrec that are painted in on top of cardboard that look absolutely amazing. Fresh as the day they were painted, I think. So, I mean, I'm speculating because I never saw the day they were painting, but the day that they were painted. But um but yeah, so that's something that I'm not scared about. That's something that doesn't really interest me that much. There's a lot of people that have called me irresponsible for not really caring about that. But the thing is, I know about those things. Just uh, blindly. Um, I'm not just blindly doing this out of ignorance. I am doing this as a choice. That is the truth. Like, it is my choice to pick this surface, and the reason that I picked this surface is because paint behaves in such a beautiful way when you paint on a raw surface, that I am willing to sacrifice everything else just for the way paint behaves. So that is my choice. I'm again, I am very conscious that this is not something that other people, would agree with me on. and that would be their choice. That in itself just answers if they would do that if they would make that decision for their own work, and the answer would be no. They would just say no, no, no. I want something that's stable, and I'm not willing to sacrifice any stability, any longevity of my painting based on paint handling or the way you put paint on a surface. That's ridiculous. And what is ridiculous for a few people is literally kind of amazing and life changing for me. So yeah, so I am willing to take that chance. Well, it's not a chance. I mean, I already know that that's going to happen. So I am working under that certainty. It's just that I'm choosing to favor one thing over the other.
So Marciel was saying, I have a small oil painting on paper I did 28 years ago of my cat.
No way.
The paper
That's
and the
awesome.
painting are still okay.
There we go. Nice. Thank you. Thank you for that. I'm going to trust you on that. I'm going to always reference you, Marcial. So,
Mm, so Mikhail Kimji was saying, where do I get bismuth yellow? I can find it in stores near me.
so again, that thing, but bismuth, the one that I buy is Windsor Newton. So maybe wherever you can get Windsor Newton artist grade paints. And again, sadly, we have to order it. So we have to order it through the internet. So,
Yeah.
or maybe if I travel, I can buy some when I travel. But yeah, usually it's ordering because it's not like I travel every day. And a lot of times people say, "Oh, just buy like $1,000 in paint and get it over with," and just, yeah, that's not gonna work. Yeah, come on, no.
Mm, and Squars was adding to that question, and he says bismuth is often called with different names. Lefranc call it Lefranc yellow, for instance.
Really?
Just look at the
And
pigment.
it's the same pigment? Yeah. Wow.
Do you have so B
Mm-hmm.
V
Mm-hmm.
says, do you have a process for deciding what you will paint? What was the start of your art practice like in that sense?
Oh,
Just one
very different. I'm sorry if you can finish, Danny. I'm so sorry.
just wondering if you planned something out or if it's more instinctual.
No, I used to plan a lot of stuff out, to be honest. But my painting practice has changed dramatically over the years. And I don't think I'm not saying that I'm not going to be able to paint in some of the manners that I used to paint, a while back. I just feel that it just has changed. It's just a very kind of obvious thing. But yeah, before I used to kind of want to, or I was deeply interested in having like a narrative to my own painting, and exploring the ways in which that narrative could be depicted or could be emphasized by the decisions that I would make on a painting. That would be super cool if I could be honest. Like that interests me for many many years. I would get bored about every 4 years, 3 4 years, and then I would just try to find like another project. So that has kind of been my mo throughout my career. I really like something, but eventually it just kind of I just lose interest, and not because I feel like I've conquered it or no, nothing like that. There's still going to be flaws to it. There's still going to be shortcomings to it. But I just wanted to explore something different. And so yeah, so I kind of know myself, and maybe every 3 4 years I just kind of feel like I want to move on, and I'll start doing something completely different. And that's kind of cool. Different, but within painting. So always painting, but pushing painting in a different way, I feel.
Aston was saying, hello, I was listening to your conversation about surfaces to paint on, and you and you wanting to paint larger but still on paper. Have you
Right.
tried mount board? Mount board?
Mount board? I don't think I've.
The kind sorry, the kind you use in framing your pictures.
I'm not sure I know what that is. Maybe I do know it, but not under that name. So forgive me. Could you search for that, Danny, to
Yeah.
see just to see
Mm,
mount board? Is that one of those boards that
it
has
says
glue to it,
mount
like a
board is a
cradled, hardboard that has glue, and you just place a paper on top of it?
also
Maybe.
it says that it's the colored card included with a picture frame. So the one that comes in the back, like this one, it's like um maybe
Mm,
a thicker like sort of cardboard maybe.
maybe. Yeah, but I don't know if okay, so that would be basically mounting it on top of another surface, right? So maybe I'm missing something. So I apologize if I am.
Mm, uh, so Maria said, "Your polish is great. Totally feel you. Thank you for your response. I guess as a student, it's my fate to make some boring paintings in class in order to learn. Love your channel. Thank you so much again."
Thank you. Did
Yeah,
you hear that about my Polish,
yeah. How
Annie?
was it again?
Dzień dobry.
And what's that? Like
I think it's
hello?
like hello,
Oh,
like
okay.
good
I
morning or
think it
hello.
is.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You don't know what it is?
Well, I
Maybe
just
you're saying like milk
yeah,
and
milk in the
and
bathroom.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the only Polish I picked up when I was traveling.
Mm, yeah, and I was gonna say about what they said about making boring paintings.
You don't have
You don't
to.
have,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, because I think that the cool thing is to try to like make it feel like yourself, so it's not boring to you. So,
Yeah. And maybe that's the whole point. Like, well, not the point. Sometimes there's teachers that are boring, and I'm sure that even exercises that I gave to students, I'm positive. I mean, I'm okay saying this. I am positive that throughout the years, many of those students thought it was just a stupid idea or it was a boring kind of exercise, and that's totally fine. But I think that you're always going to be able to just convince yourself that something is boring. Always, always, always. And especially if it superficially feels like it strays away from what we like, we're always just going to be like, oh, this is not what I want. Like, this is stupid, this is ridiculous. Why are they making us do this? It's absurd. um but the truth is that the only person that loses something from painting something boring is because it's not like, hey, I'm going to stick it to my teacher and I'm going to paint the most boring ass painting I've ever painted just to show him that he made like a dumbass exercise. Yeah, but who lost? Like the only person that lost an opportunity in doing all of that was ourselves. So ideally, what we want all the time, well, ideally, what we want is for a teacher to be exciting, and for the exercises or the sort of starting points of an exercise that they give to us to always be exciting, always be like super exciting, and you're always looking forward to that class and to looking forward to that next exercise. And trust me, as a teacher, I can tell you that that's not easy. Like satisfying all those things all the time, it's like super super difficult, and especially if you have a ton of students, trying to satisfy all your students, oh, it's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. And all your students throughout years and years, absolutely impossible. So maybe you just kind of say, you know what? It's always kind of going to be boring and stupid, or the exercise may be boring and stupid if I want to see them that way. But it is my responsibility to fight and find a way to make them interesting for me. That is always your responsibility. You can't just leave that responsibility on your teacher. Again, good teachers, they should be able to to give you like a really kind of cool, exciting starting point. But maybe that doesn't happen that often. But you can either say, I'm gonna think my class sucks and I'm gonna complain about it. I'm not saying that you're complaining about it, Maria, but you can always just kind of say, pout and just say, oh, this sucks, this is boring, this is ridiculous. Or you can just say, wow, that's kind of like a dumb starting point. But maybe because it's kind of dumb, it also gives me the chance to do whatever with it,
Yeah.
to kind of interpret it in whatever way I want. And that can be super cool because
Yep.
now it gave you liberty to do something super, super personal and super interesting.
Yeah. And also because if you just understand the subject matter as something that is, I mean, it's a given, what you were saying, you can like take more risks
Right.
or feel like a little bit more free to do what you want to do. And also, what you were saying, I mean, if you just think about the subject matter as something that's given and you change like the mentality that you have and like focus on the interest or the intention that you have while painting, any subject matter can be interesting, I
Right.
think.
Right.
So,
Yeah. 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 It's totally true.
mm, uh, so Tommy was saying, how much do you care if the palette or the reference photo is showing in the streams?
Palette, Tommy, palette. We've noticed that a lot of people appreciate when we put the palette. Um, but again, like we said at the beginning, when I want to paint something that's horizontal, it just makes it a lot more difficult to try
To
and
fit everything, yeah.
yeah, to try and fit everything. I think we've done it, but it really is like
Yeah.
it's a hazard even. I mean, it's a contraption that can fall in like any second. Reference. Also, people ask a lot about reference.
Yeah.
I was. I mean, I hope I never sounded defensive about sharing reference, but I was always like, yeah, reference shouldn't really matter that much. You should just kind of pay attention to the painting that's going on. But I guess there is an argument, and people would often tell us that if you're able to see the reference, you're able to also see how you interpret the reference, which is kind of cool,
Yeah, like the decisions that you're making,
Right,
maybe.
right, right. Because I feel comfortable with that, like with understanding that ultimately it's like a very, very open interpretation of the information that's there. So yeah, it's okay. I think we've noticed that people appreciate those two things. So
Yeah.
when we can, we fit them in. And if we can't, we'll just say, hey, not no palette view today, but and hopefully that's okay also.
Yeah, and also I was gonna say that on these streams,
Mm-hmm.
it has been super interesting because sometimes people like join and want to paint along or draw,
Right.
so they can like accompany us by painting or drawing or whatever with the reference that we're sharing. So
Yeah, I saw that Senna, who's a really, really amazing artist. We have a couple of things of her. Senna drew you recently.
me,
That profile of yeah, she actually does a bunch of the some of the exercises that we do here. So it's really, really cool
but
to
was it a
see.
long time ago?
No, no, no. I think she posted it recently.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, yeah, she's so talented.
Let me see.
Yeah, let me see if it's. I don't know if it was in a story or
Oh no, but you're talking about this one because I've seen that before.
No, 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 no. Sena Jovi. Maybe it's a story.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
did you
it's
see
a
it in the
story.
story?
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. She drew you. She's amazing. She's an amazing draftsperson and an equally super talented painter. So, oh yeah, she posted a ton of like drawings. Yeah, she's incredible. We 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 bought this painting from her.
Oh,
This
yeah.
this little pumpkin painting from her. Also, we have a drawing of her, a drawing of Josie that she did of Josie.
Yeah. And also that painting that you bought
Yeah.
is perfect for because we want to put it alongside
Yeah, with
another
the Keith
painting.
painting. Yeah,
Yeah.
and we have this drawing of Josie, which is amazing.
Yeah.
I love this drawing. I absolutely adore Senna's work. So her Insta is Senna Artist. If you guys want to follow her and send her some love and buy a bunch of her work because she's incredible. Senna Ajovi. I
So,
I know
oh, sorry.
you know why I'm so confident with the Ajovi
What?
because that's the do you remember the football player from Ecuador, Ajovi?
No.
Does it sound no? There was a football player from Ecuador's national team that was Ajovi.
But there was a girl in my school and she was a Joey.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
maybe it's Ajovi. No, but I always said, but well, I'm basing my pronunciation on um on just commentators, football commentators throughout the years.
Yeah, because she was in my grade and she was a Joey.
No way. The same
Yeah.
name, same spelling.
Ayobi. Yeah.
Oh no, this is different. This is Ajovi.
Oh, yeah, so it's different.
Yeah, this is pretty. I mean, if you think about it,
Maybe
it's
it
probably
comes
the
from the
same.
same,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. The origin, I'm sure, is the same, but yeah, but it's a little different. She's in Montreal, so awesome, but
Um,
super talented. Again, and I always try to say this: if you find, I always try to interrupt Danny for one,
I don't know what's
and
happening today because
oh,
we
I just
try
made
to
it.
talk
I just made it my
your
thing
theme today, yeah.
to interrupt you today. Uh,
Today.
yeah, right. No, but I think we always say this, but if you find an artist that you respect and you admire and you enjoy, um, you know, send them a DM and tell them, oh, do you have stuff that's available? And
If you can.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Or maybe check their website out because maybe they have prices already in their website, which I always enjoy. Just people sharing how much their work is, like directly, openly, and and that'll make it super easy. You just go to the website and you like something and you buy it. And but if they don't have like a storefront or if they don't have any stuff like that, just write to the people that you enjoy and admire, and maybe a lot of people have the idea that art is super inaccessible, and the truth is that art can be like cool art can be super super accessible. So give it a shot.
Oh, so when they were talking about the like that sort of cardboard that goes on
Okay.
frames, I think we didn't know about it because a lot of people were saying that it's the board where you cut the passepartout and
Okay.
that you can actually paint on it. So,
Oh, okay. There we go.
yeah,
Okay.
so maybe you can give it a try.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We would have to see where we get that over here,
No,
but
so Alejandro Morales says cartón piedra en Colombia. So we can look
gracias
for it.
Alejandro. Muchas
Yeah,
gracias.
todo serio.
Sí,
Muchas
sí, muchas
gracias.
gracias por
Muchas
el
gracias,
dato.
Alejandro.
Buenas tardes.
So Squars was asking, do you like Richter photorealism or abstract?
Yeah, I am actually like a big fan, cool fan. Yeah, and I think he had an enormous impact on the painting that came after him. So it's just very healthy, kind of nice to have an artist that acknowledges that you can fluctuate from photographic painting to abstract expressionist painting, and you can feel like the same painter. So I like that because there's not many examples of painting like that throughout history of people just so
Like consistent?
effortlessly kind of dime Linda.
No, like consistent?
Yeah, and like effortlessly, like you don't really feel like, I mean, they are two, you know I guess the nature of those two works is very different,
Yeah.
but you can also sense that it makes sense, that it not sense that it makes sense, that sounds stupid, but you can also sense that when examining it, that the fact that they come from the same hand, from the same human being,
Yeah.
is plausible.
Yeah.
Like that is something that you can conceive. So I think that that's super interesting.
So again, when you were talking about the surfaces to paint on a larger scale,
Right?
Liad was saying, Nicolas, have you tried priming with gesso with pumas or chalk mixed in?
Pumice? Yeah,
Pumice, I'm
pumice
sorry.
is piedra pómez.
Ah, y yo,
Yeah,
pumas.
pumas. Like pumas, like growling pumas. Like,
Uh,
"Rawr, don't.
might give you a surface you
Down,
like
down,
that,
boys.
that you can go larger with.
Um, pumice, I've only, you know what I've done pumice for? Yeah, I'm just thinking of pumas in the on
Like
the surface.
scratching the surface.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like down. Okay, settle down. Settle down. I'm gonna paint. Like Jesus. Before lunch, they're like super, super agitated.
No, but now you're
Um,
making it super long.
I know, I
You
made it
stretch
longer.
it so
I know,
much.
I did. But I still I'm imagining a surface covered with pumas. No. Let's get back to that. Pumice I've used for pastels. So yeah, and it's super cool for pastel. It just the only thing is like your pastel, and I remember just buying a bit expensive pastels for this, and just watching my pastel just feel like I was dragging it through sandpaper and just it's an expensive pastel that one stroke left it like about half the size. So yeah, that was a bit painful.
Perdón, este chiste es muy...
The Puma one.
Sí, te iba a preguntar.
¿Qué?
¿En inglés
Pero
o en español?
me estás preguntando como en secreto o la gente está
No,
oyendo.
pues
Es que estás hablando, perdón, es que te iba a
qué pena
preguntar.
te digo.
Sí.
Cuando piensas, cuando tú dijiste a surface covered with pumas.
Oh, you're going for it. You're like super committing to
What do
this
you
bit.
think when you think about a
A
surface?
surface covered with pumas?
Yeah, it's super Colombian. No, maybe
What?
por eso lo hablé suavecito, no importa.
Let me think. I don't know. Surface
Nicolás,
covered
por
with
favor.
pumas? ¿Con pumas? ¿El puma? Con. But I don't know what that is.
Las 7 tigres, Nicolás, ¿cómo así?
No.
¿No?
Pero
Uy,
¿me siento
fatal.
mal?
Hasta hay un meme de... mira, Homero con las 7
Y
tigres.
son las cobijas que venden como no sé,
Sí,
ahí en
no
San
importa.
Victorino.
No, ya,
O
Nicolás.
sea, me siento súper mal
Sí,
ya. ¿Me
qué
faltó
mal
calle? ¿Me
colombiano.
faltó calle?
Pues calle,
¿Pueblo?
no, cama.
Cállese más
Todas las
bien.
camas tenían 7 tigres, Nicolás.
No, tú no tenías esa
Yo
cobija de
tenía 7
tigres.
tigres en mi
¿Con
casa.
tigres?
Las 7 tigres tenían tigres. Un tigre, 2 tigres, 4. Y
¿Hasta
eran...
7? ¿Por eso se llamaban 7?
No, es que normalmente tenían 7.
No, ya ahora me
¿No?
siento horrible. No, me siento mal.
Y les
Me siento
decían
mal.
7 tigres o 4 tigres. Y yo siempre pensé que entre más tigres eran más abrigadas.
¿Más abrigadas? ¿Había más tigre muerto por eso?
Sí, bueno, no importa. No creo que nadie acá
Ay, me perdí.
tenga. De
No, no,
pronto
no.
Lich me salva acá.
S-
Lich.
Pensaste en el amigo más calle que
No,
tenemos.
pues es que
Lich
está
me
acá.
salva.
Alejandro Morales puso unas caritas riéndose. No sé si de pronto él tuvo 7 tigres. Mentiras, yo no sé si en mi casa hubo, pero creo que
Estoy
donde mi abuela sí
sí, estoy
había.
100% seguro que no.
Pero sí, eran... No, en mi casa sí había. Bueno.
Parecen como cobijas de dulce abrigo. Pues como
Ay,
en las
mira,
que
mira,
venden.
Lich dice, no, Dani, los tigres sí son porque son más abrigadas, sí. O sea, tenían tigres, pero las llamaban, había 4 tigres, 5 tigres.
No, Lich, ¿cuánto,
¿Cuánto tigres a Lich?
cuánta calle perdí yo por no saber eso, Lich? Qué pena.
No, y eso,
No, pero es que es como clout. Es como no decir no. Perdí respeto, total.
pero no es calle, es
Ir a San Victorino a
como
comprar
cultura.
cobijas. Como cultura,
Pues
bueno.
es como ser colombiano es.
Bueno, no, gracias. No, mejor, ya todo eso
Mira,
lo hace
Lich
mejor.
dice, o sea, yo tengo una 4 tigres. Sí, 7 era la más pro. Y Paula Abril dice, claro, las 7 tigres, como así?
Ay, no,
¿Sí
ahora
ves?
todo el mundo haciéndome sentir como un huevón. Todos juntos.
No, pues no un huevón, solo un extranjero en esta
Gracias.
tierra.
Ay, no, oiganla.
Pero
Puta.
sí,
No, no,
lástima,
no.
lástima.
Sí, qué pena. No, pues ya mañana salgo.
¿Que fueron las 7
Sí,
tigres?
mañana salgo y me la compro y me tomo fotos y pinto. Y si quieres la
La pinto.
monto, la monto encima de un bastidor y pinto encima de ella y ya. Ya, me siento colombiano. Y me tomo una foto con un carriel, un sombrero volteado. ¿Qué región me falta? Em, un zapato llanero, una
Un...
alpargata,
¿Y
una,
comiendo
un
bollo
arpa.
limpio?
Sí, y me falta abajo. Y
Mira, Alejandro Morales dice, jajaja, entre más tigre, más calientito, ¿sí ves?
Sí, ya todo el mundo te dio
¿Ves?
la
¿Ves? ¿Sí
razón.
ves?
O sea,
Bueno,
ya.
a ver,
Qué pena mi ignorancia. Yo prefiero aceptar la ignorancia que decir, ay, sí, las
¿cómo se llaman?
siete tigres,
Ah, bueno.
ya.
Estoy ofendido.
Sí, pues sí.
Em,
Me hicieron sentir que ya no pertenezco.
no, sí perteneces.
No, no, no.
No, de pronto en tu casa no había, pero tú me dijiste que tenían unas cobijas súper pesadas,
Pues de
que son como
lana,
cobija de
no, pues
ruana, que esas
sí,
también
pues
las
no voy a
usaba.
pelear por quién era más colombiano. Tú de pronto eras más bogotana, más de San Victorino. Y, o sea, tú las ibas a comprar a la Jiménez y mi papá compraba las cobijas nuestras en Tunja y eran de oveja y olían a potrero.
Pero,
Ya, no importa, no importa.
Nicolás, em,
Tú eres bogotana y yo era cundiboyacense.
a ver, eh, so when you were talking about the surfaces,
No, ya no puedo hacer la transición.
Sebastian Bishop was saying, put loves, put lots of moleskin pages together to make a large painting.
That's what I've been thinking.
Yeah, I think you said that like maybe last week that you would love to
Yeah,
do that.
honestly, that's what I've been thinking. I think that that's going to be, at least I'm going to try it with one painting, like a, like an assemblage of just pieces of paper. Could be super cool.
So remember that I didn't know how to read the Russian name.
Yeah.
So Todd said that the name was pronounced Anastasia in English. So
Oh,
maybe
that's how you spelled Anastasia in
yeah. Well, that's what
Cyrillic?
Todd said. So maybe if I'm mistaken, it's because
No, no, no. Todd
Todd
just put
said.
it through Google Translate and
Yeah. So Anastasia said, "How long does it take in your country to get an art degree? In Russia, it takes 6 years only in universities. So here it takes 5."
yeah, it takes 5 and I studied in the US where it takes 4 an undergraduate and what the hell my palette is like super gunky. I have no idea why. Um 4. Oye, ¿qué le eché a mi paleta?
No
¿A
sé.
mi espatulita? Está, no sé. Está toda pegachenta. So I'm sorry. So it takes 5 here in Colombia, and I studied in the U.S. where it takes an undergraduate would take 4. So yeah, a little bit less, and the masters would take 2. So if you're doing a master's, which I mean, I never tell people what to do, but I just don't think that it's a good idea. It takes 6 years in total.
Mm, bueno, cuando estábamos hablando de las cobijas,
Sí, ya, ya.
Lich dice que te faltó tomándose un carajillo.
Ah, sí, sí, es que
Sí.
tocaba cubrir las regiones. Arepa de huevo me faltó de pronto.
Cristian Aldana dice, yo estoy viendo esto con mis 7 tigres.
No, pues ahora toda la
Alejandro.
javeriana, o sea, el que no tuviera cobija de tigre en la javeriana no era javeriano.
Alejandro Morales dice, Dani, ese es el regalo perfecto para Navidad.
Para ella,
Uy,
sí,
no, 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 porque eso acalora terrible.
sí, no.
No.
Nosotros ya sufrimos de
Uy,
calor,
sí. Para dormir, sí.
sí.
Em,
Un tigre entonces,
no, una cría.
¿sí?
Sí. So Squares is asking, are there rivalry between Colombia and other countries like Brazil and Argentina? Like soccer
In
wise,
in
maybe.
soccer, yeah, in football.
Yeah, football wise,
Um,
maybe.
no, pero nosotros, no, we get along with anyone.
Yeah,
We are
no.
super cool. We are very cool people.
Mm, so Beshria was saying, haha, I love how you both get so much louder when you're speaking in Spanish.
We were also discussing
Yeah,
having a small argument because Danny was,
about Colombian culture.
yeah, Danny was quick to note how little I knew of a specific bed sheet that we use here, apparently, because I never used it. So she was shaming me into
I was not shaming
there
you.
was like it
No,
was
because at
I
first
mean
I was
you and
asking
like
you.
10 other people chimed in just to back you up on my ignorance. So thank you. That was awesome. Yeah. That felt awesome.
Yeah, but
You know
I
how I always tell you that I got your back?
when you always throw me under the bus. What are you talking
You know how
about?
I'm always like, it's I'm with you till the end.
Mhm.
You just showed me that you would have like George Costanza me,
What's
pushing the
that?
old lady.
I don't know that reference. I'm
I
sorry.
know. I'm just trying to make it even. So I'm just sending a kind of pop culture reference
From the United States?
from Seinfeld, which is
Oh,
like, international, I would say.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, but I think we are a little bit louder in Spanish.
A little bit. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. Estamos como en nuestra salsa, entonces.
Yo no sabría eso. Yo de pronto soy muy extranjero para estar en nuestra
Ay, tú
salsa.
eres súper
Tu
colombiano.
salsa es hogao y la mía
Solo.
es salsa de tomate,
¿Qué?
mayonesa.
Sí. No, mayonesa.
Sí, no. Ves que los
Eh,
gringos se burlan mucho de decir que la mayonesa es como lo más, como
no, tú eres
blanco,
súper colombiano,
insípido.
pero pues me diste papaya para
Sí, sí, gracias.
el chiste perfecto.
Sí, gracias.
Em, uh, so Mike was asking, do you have any recommendations for alternatives to going to university for art?
Our painted lives, aside from our painted lives. No, you could do workshops. I know that it sounds a little risky, but for for the for a percentage of the price that you would pay for a university, you could do workshops if you can travel or if you can afford them. If you can't, that's totally fine. You could do online. There's a lot of places that are super super solid that are teaching like fundamentals of painting. So yeah, you just have to find the places that feel close to your own sensibility and consider them. See, yeah, like look at their price. Look at the prices and see if you could maybe, if they actually accommodate to what you can spend. But yeah, there's if you don't mind the virtual aspect of those spaces, or if you don't mind the fact that maybe you can't do a ton of workshops during the year because that also could be costly. But if you don't mind the intermittency of the workshops, I think that's the word that I was trying to look for, and the virtual nature of some of the schools, then yeah, there's a ton available.
Michael Mendoza dice, hola, salud desde Panamá, ¿das cursos online?
Voy a dar, no cursos, o sea, doy talleres, pero no como cursos completos en línea, Michael. Em, pero el último que voy a dar este año ya se llenó. Lo siento mucho.
No, y lo mismo, lo que habíamos dicho que todavía no hemos hecho.
Pues, ¿y quién ha
Y
dicho que
yo
se iba a
dije
hacer
que yo lo
cargo?
iba a hacer,
Mm,
pero
mm,
en nuestra
mm,
página que es
mm.
ourpaintedlives.com, o sea, el mismo nombre de usuario de acá de YouTube, en nuestra página voy a, en un futuro próximo, hacer como una pestaña donde estén todos los cursos que va a haber de Nicolás por si alguien está interesado, que, que los puedan mirar. Esperemos que para el 2022
Esperemos.
ya
Uy,
lo tenga hecho.
qué calceta
No, se me ha olvidado, no
impresionante.
sé
Pues
por
sí,
qué.
pero, o sea, te diste 2 meses ya, te diste hasta ni siquiera dijiste enero, dijiste hasta el
El
2022,
pobre,
como,
pues para darme tiempito.
esperemos. No, pues yo lo hago ya, mañana
No,
lo hago yo. Dos
ay,
segundos.
no, ya
Dos
ahorita
segundos.
lo
No, no,
hago.
tranquila. Mientras
Oye,
tú
estás así
duermes,
por los 7 tickets.
mientras tú duermes debajo de tus 7 tigres.
Nicolás. Ay, Nicolás,
Oye,
chico.
y esa industria, Lich, de pronto, o alguien que me confirme,
¿De las
¿esa
siete
industria es
tigres?
local? O sea, ¿estas cobijas han sido colombianas, producto colombiano? Porque es que casi todo lo que hay allá es chino. Entonces me causa mucha curiosidad saber si estas son cobijas chinas que las hemos entendido propias o si esto es un producto netamente bogotano.
A ver, espera, porque estoy viendo, de pronto hay respuesta para eso. Hay un artículo en El Tiempo que dice la Bogotá moderna contada desde una cobija cuatro tigres. Entonces,
Puta, era, o sea, hasta nota del tiempo.
sí, es que es muy famosa, o sea, es
Yo
como
en qué
la
piedra,
cobija bogotana.
en qué piedra duermo yo, debajo de qué piedra duermo.
No, a ver, espera. Voy a buscar origen. La cobija cuatro tigres, de hecho, es traída desde el Ecuador,
De
donde la
Ecuador.
fabrica la empresa Vicuña, pero son relacionadas a veces con los cobertores San Marcos propios de México, que
Mm,
tienen una estética similar.
O sea, esto
Eh,
es un esfuerzo latinoamericano. O sea, cubre continentes.
sí, a ver,
México ecuatoriano.
sí, en México decía cobertor San Marcos. O sea,
Sí.
estoy buscando.
Bueno, entonces me puedo defender diciendo, ¿saben qué? Es ecuatoriana, no me jodan.
No, mi amor, es de toda la cultura latinoamericana.
Pero es ecuatoriana, mi amor.
No, o sea, acá en Colombia,
Pero si estamos trayendo algo
no,
ecuatoriano, no es nuestro. O sea, perdóname. O sea, súper chévere.
pero es muy
Hermanos,
nuestro. O
hermanos
sea,
ecuatorianos. Somos, o sea, somos hermanos.
no porque es que están diciendo, a ver, espera, eh, traída del Ecuador, ahí veo que también dicen lo que te digo, la San Marcos era. Ay, no, ahora, va y lo digo mal. Sí, si era San Marcos,
No,
Nicolás.
no
Sí,
sé.
San Marcos,
No sé.
cobertor San Marcos.
No sé, tú eres la que supuestamente
Y
sabe.
acá también las hacen.
Mm. No, pues sí. Si ya vendieron 100.000, o sea, si cada día venden 100.000, pues
A ver, espera. Mira, fuimos timados. Ahora resulta que las clásicas cobijas de tigre no son mexicanas, ¿qué?
son
¿Ahora de
chinas.
dónde son?
Chinas. Estoy seguro.
Eh, ¿Qué? No, pero espérate, yo
¿En
ahora
qué te metiste? ¿En un Reddit? O sea, ¿estás en qué?
estoy en una página que se llama eldeforma.com.
No, ¿qué estás viendo? ¿Qué estás viendo?
Es diseño peruano.
¿Sí?
Ahora dicen que es diseño peruano, pero a nosotros nos llegan de Ecuador, pero también las hacen en México.
No, esto va a ser con
Y
la
también
pelea
en
del
Colombia.
pisco.
Sí, o de la
Como la
arepa.
pelea del pisco.
Y la arepa.
Bueno, la arepa, pero es que la venezolana es distinta. Entonces pueden
Sí.
decir que sí, que eso es de ellos, pero eso no es arepa.
A ver, ¿qué están diciendo? Dicen, Lich dice, en una época se hacían acá en San Victorino. Mi tía las compraba ya.
Sí, pues por eso yo la reconocí y dije,
Eh,
pues esa es la cobija de San Victorino, pero pues
sí.
yo no.
No, eso lo dijiste mucho después.
No,
Tenemos el video de prueba.
mira el momento en el que digo que son puras
Pero es
cobijas de
que
San
yo vi tu
Victorino.
cara
No,
cuando
pues que yo
hiciste
no,
como que.
o sea, que pues, voy a aceptar que no sabía que eran así famosas, o sea, que era la identidad del bogotano, no sabía.
Ah, Irving Torres también dice, en México sí hay de tigres y se usa esa referencia. Lo de cuatro tigres, cinco tigres.
Y México, seamos honestos, la cultura mexicana es mucho más vieja que nosotros, eso seguramente es de México,
Mario
entonces,
León dice, no, todo eso es ecuatoriano.
qué
Pero igual,
pelea.
sí, pero pues igual acá se usaba mucho. O sea, yo creo que tú a mucha gente le preguntas qué es una cuatro tigres,
No, pues ya,
siete
sí,
tigres. Por eso
pues
dije a mucha gente, no a todo el mundo para que no te sientas mal, pero
no, pues ya me siento horrible, ya voy a tener que comprar una
sí.
por Mercado Libre.
Ah, eh, Popping Tails dice, acá son las cuatro vírgenes.
¿Qué está pasando? En México, supongo.
Y Irving Torres dice, los San Marcos se usan mucho por todos los mexicanos de clases bajas. Nicolás, si te falta barrio, pero te aceptamos en nuestro gremio,
Sí,
jajaja.
sí,
Es
no.
broma, saludos.
No, tranquilo. Ya Dani me va a acordar eso todo el tiempo.
Bueno, a ver, cambiemos de tema. Si encuentro
No, este fue
eh,
el tema de hoy.
la cuatro tigres.
El Ford
Pero,
Tiger.
pero a nosotros no nos serviría, porque en serio yo me acuerdo que eran súper calientes. Mm,
No, y la verdad, me siento como con una cobija de millonarios. O sea, todo bien, pero no.
Sí. Pues, pero eso es lo más como insignia de esas cobijas, como esa estética.
Sí.
Sí, pero bueno, yo es
Que
que
es como,
cambiemos de
que la
temas.
verdad es como dibujante contemporáneo.
Sí.
O sea, ¿será que todo, que la intención bogotana de dibujar tigres nace de esas cobijas? Porque el tigre, pues nosotros que,
Pero no creo que bogotana, o sea,
pues ya es como,
latinoamericana,
sí,
porque si esto lo compartíamos todos.
sí.
Mira, incluso acá hay, mira, esta persona se
¿Qué?
hizo un abrigo con la cuatro tigres.
No,
Está en
y
Transmilenio.
está en el Met Gala.
No,
Estamos
en el Met Gala
es-
del
en el
Portal
Met
Norte,
Gala.
Nicolás. ¿De qué hablas?
Sí.
Mira esta, mira. Es que hay hasta memes de eso todo el
De
tiempo.
Jon Snow
Con
con...
con la siete tigres.
Uy, pucha, no, me siento, o sea, llegué a una fiesta en donde no estaba incluido. Sí, no conocía a nadie. Como que tú me invitaste a una fiesta y dijiste que
Y
ibas a
me
llegar
fui.
más tarde y te dio diarrea y nunca fuiste. Y yo ahí
Oye,
estoy, y
pero
yo estoy en una esquina. Ahí, qué buenas, sí. Ay, sí,
sí,
no,
mucho
sí.
gusto.
Sí, no, el novio de Dan.
Sí.
Ah,
¿Cuál, Daniela?
sí, no, voy a ir al baño.
Em, sí, Alejandro Morales dice que podrían ser Ed Hardy por la estética, 100%. ¿No sabes ahora qué es Ed
No,
Hardy,
no sé
Nicolás? No,
tampoco. Fue
es en
puta.
serio.
No, pues ya el día en que me descubrieron como poser.
Pero es que Ed Hardy no es colombiano,
No
es
sé
una
qué
marca
es.
como de los 2000. La ves si te acuerdas.
No, no sé
Mira,
qué
esto,
es.
de esas cachuchas así,
No, fue como un tatuaje.
no, como esta estética,
No sé qué es, mi amor.
estaba muy
Tatuajes.
de
Pero yo
moda.
no sé qué es Ed Hardy, no
Una
sé.
marca, te estoy diciendo, es
Sí,
una marca.
fue puta.
Ay, mi coco, esa cara que hiciste.
Sí, es que yo de esas cosas no sé nada.
Ay, no.
Sí,
Sí,
no me jodan, no me
cambiemos
jodan.
hablen de
No
pintura.
más.
Em,
¿Saben qué? No voy a pintar más. Ya se acabó la pintura de hoy.
a ver. So, Callum was saying, I know, espera un paréntesis.
Sí,
Me encanta pensar en la gente que no entiende español
sí.
y te oye gritar. O sea, yo riéndome, tú gritas y yo
Deben
cambio
estar,
como si
esos
nada.
latinos. Y lo que no saben es que yo de latino nada,
Pero
güey,
Ed
madre.
Hardy es de Estados Unidos, mi amor.
Sí, pero
O
no
sea,
sé.
ahí sí
Nada, no sé
quedaste mal
nada, mi
parqueado en
amor.
todo lado.
Sí, no tengo hogar, no sé de dónde soy.
Sí, mira, Ed Hardy es de Newport Beach,
Sí.
California.
Yo soy muy blanco para ser colombiano y muy huevón para ser gringo. Jue puta vida.
So, Callum was
Yes.
saying, I know it's not the same, but I have accepted a place at an animation school based off the work I have done from self-study online.
Nice.
Uh,
Super nice.
it
That's
definitely
congrats.
works if you work at it. What?
¿Qué?
Oh no,
Dani.
no, no, no. It's
Oh
the
my God.
second part of a question
Okay,
because
okay, okay.
he said, I just got accepted onto a master's in animation,
Oh, dude,
but I
nice.
do also have
Congrats.
a PhD, so felt strange going back to study with teenagers. Oh, but that doesn't matter,
No, no, that's
Callum.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
A PhD in what? If you don't mind me asking, in the arts or somewhere in something else?
Mm, so,
So ignorant, Coquito.
sí, la gente está respondiendo. Alejandro Morales dice, Ed Hardy es un maestro tatuador americano.
No, sí, sí, no, yo.
No, pero yo creo que tú conoces esa
No, no,
estética.
mi amor, no
O
trates de
sea,
salvarme. No, no trates.
como,
Déjame ir.
déjame hundir.
Sí, déjame hundir. Yo soy Titanic
O
acá.
sea, acá se
Déjame.
usaban, incluso acá las usaban mucho. Mi primo tenía, creo que chiviadas,
No
pero
sé.
como cachuchas así.
No, no sé.
En
¿Eso en
esa
qué años
época
era?
era en los 2000.
Es que yo no estuve acá en los 2000.
No, pero en Estados Unidos estaba
Pero
de
pues
moda en los 2000. O
pero
sea,
yo nunca estuve de moda.
no,
Tú
pero
me
ve, pero
conoces, yo nunca he
salías a
estado de
la
moda.
calle. O
No,
sea, en
yo.
Nueva York la gente lo debía usar. Mira, como
No.
estéticas así.
No, cero. Eso es cero. No, eso es como de la costa oeste.
No, y así, 100%.
No, esa vieja.
Eso,
¿Caminando? Nunca.
pues no estoy diciendo que esa vieja esté en Nueva York, pero estoy diciendo que...
No, pero pues no
Mira,
hay...
así,
La gente se
mira,
viste en...
muy 2000.
No, nunca.
Sí,
Sé que ese es el peladito de High School
Nickelodeon.
Musical. High School Musical.
Ah, ¿él es?
Sí, sí,
Sí.
sí. Pero no, no, yo que iba a
Sí,
saber
pero
eso.
sí, eso estaba, sí.
No,
Pero
no.
estoy segura que lo viste. De pronto ahorita no te pusiste nervioso y no te acuerdas,
No, no,
pero...
no. Ahí me estás tratando de ayudar y no. Créeme, yo acá muere solo. Yo no, no pasa nada. No me siento mal.
mm,
Nunca fui popular y pues la gente se está dando cuenta de eso.
bueno, aunque, o sea, como popular de moda,
Sí, no
porque,
popular del pueblo,
porque
gracias.
popular
Ya, sí,
era la
sí, no
Siete
popular de
Tigres
plaza.
y
Ya
popular también
entendimos.
era
Ah,
Ed Hardy.
seguiste, gracias.
Em, so Callum says that he has a PhD on robotics,
Oh, dude, nice.
and he says, I'm a researcher scientist at the moment. We make robot displays for people to access art exhibitions and performance remotely if they are isolating or having disabilities.
Oh, dude, that's amazing.
Yeah, and
That's super cool.
they were saying uh, Yuko Shimizu started at 38, and Atkins was saying, I didn't start art school until I was 27. So, yeah, I think that age isn't a problem.
Oh, not at all. Never,
If
ever.
it's something that you really want to learn, like I think you shouldn't even be thinking about your age.
Yeah, never.
Mm, eh, a ver, estoy buscando. So Atkins was asking you favorite contemporary artists. Probably been asked before. If that's the case, skip.
Um, no, no, no. I have, but that's totally fine. I can say that just so to get my mind off of the fact that I apparently know nothing about my own culture, but that's fine.
Heritage.
Yeah, that's and Danny just
I
points
keep
it out,
yeah.
openly points it out, but that's totally fine.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, let's see. I've I've noticed because she has a show now at the Whitney. Jennifer Packer is incredible. I've the first since the first time I saw her work, I'm like, she is absolutely amazing. So I have to put her in there as a contemporary painter. I'm thinking of contemporary painters, so I don't have to broaden it to contemporary artist. Um, but my go-to always is Ruprecht von Kaufmann. I think he's a genius. He has a couple of shows. If I saw if I read his Instagram post right, I think he's got a couple of paintings and a couple of shows right now. Let me see if I can. I mean, I could name just 100 artists now, but let me see if I could narrow it down to who else? Who else am I like super enjoying? I've ever since Danny introduced me to him, I've liked Andrew Cranston quite a bit.
Yeah.
And there is a sort of painting that is a very minimal, kind of economical painting that is done right now. There's a Scottish painter that I really liked. I think it's Scottish painter. I may be just inventing the fact that he's Scottish, but he's got to be Barry McGlashan. Barry McGlashan. Yeah, it's super simple. It's a very Andrew Cranston painting also, but I really really like it. I'm super weird in terms of the painting that I like. Um I'll usually like stuff that is close to what I do, but for some reason I also love stuff that is very different and it's quite a bit away from the paintings that I paint. So
So I googled and he's from Scotland.
okay.
Yeah.
So I know those things and I don't know about our own bed sheets. That's disgusting.
Our own bed sheets. It sounds
We're our own, you know. Yeah, I can't.
typical.
Yeah, I can't say that as a. I'm not part of that, you know,
Ay, Nicole.
society. If I don't, I didn't know this.
Mm. Were you gonna say someone else or?
No, let's leave it at that. I think it's pretty broad, so that's kind of cool. I feel it's
Mm,
okay. Super down.
yeah, now you're
Super
just
down. I
being
was so
super.
high. The painting I think is going well
And now
ish,
you're just like,
and now I'm like down. You know how a moment ago you said you were sleepy?
yeah.
Yeah,
Now you're brokenhearted.
just broken.
Mm, so I'm looking for more questions.
Yeah,
Nicolás.
more opportunities to
No,
just put me down.
además la gente no entiende en inglés de qué estás hablando y creen que de verdad estás triste.
Well, I am.
No. A ver. em, Popping Tales pregunta, ¿has visto el trabajo de Joao Ruas?
Sí, es un monstruo. Un monstruo. Un monstruo. Es genial. Me acuerdo del trabajo de Joao desde que hizo las portadas de Fables, desde que empezó a hacer, cuando James ya no estaba haciendo las portadas de Fables, él se puso a hacer las portadas. Entonces me acuerdo desde ese momento. Sí,
Mm,
es un dibujante absurdo.
So Shade Black was asking, do you know Bato Dugar Shapov?
Oh, from the name, I have to say no.
Do you want me to Google?
Yeah.
So maybe I can show it to you.
Yeah. Please
Mm,
tell me he just draws tigers.
So he's the creator
Yeah.
of the
Seven
design of the
Tiger.
yeah.
¿Quién hace esos diseños? Sería muy chévere saber
Sí.
quién es el
Yo creo que
artista.
ya ahorita
Le artiste.
o sea, buscan tigres,
En
Google
Google.
e imprimen sin importar.
Filtro.
Sí,
Sí.
mira. Mira él es.
Ah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very nice. ¿Cómo se llama otra vez? Seems Russian.
Yeah. Bato Dugar Shapov.
Okay. Yeah. Very Russian then. Or very, Eastern European. But yeah, for sure. Very nice.
So, yeah, he's from Russia. And
Reconozco pintura rusa y no
Nicolás,
cobijas colombianas, mi
todo
amor.
está perfecto.
No, no es perfecto.
Todo está
Todo
perfecto.
está roto.
No. Rumen Plamenov says, do you know Stephen Bowman?
Yeah, he's very cool. He's having he's also, I think he has a patron, if I'm not mistaken. He's far more formal than I am. But he's super cool. He seems like a super nice guy. And yeah, super sensitive. I feel when he does streams, they're like super helpful too. Yeah, so he's far more formal than I am. Where's he from? Swedish, maybe? I think. I think so.
Let me Google it. So,
I think he is. Yeah, but super helpful. If you guys are following his Patreon or follow his lives, that's awesome.
he's from, oh, sorry,
No, go ahead.
Memphis, Tennessee.
Yeah, but is he?
He's located in Florida right now. Yeah, it says born in Memphis, Tennessee.
No way, really? But he has an accent. Could you guys confirm that? Because I think he's got an accent that doesn't sound like American. His English sounds like not off. I'm not gonna say off, but it sounds like he's not American. No way. Maybe I'm completely wrong. This is the day where I'm just like completely off
Oh,
about
so
everything.
I went to his webpage,
Yeah.
and in the About Me, it
Yeah.
says, I'm a classically trained artist and I spent 12 years as an instructor in the drawing and painting program of the Florence Academy of Art. So maybe that's. Mm,
No,
oh,
but
in addition to that, I was the director of the Anatomy and Ecorche department for 6 years, first in Sweden and then in the US.
okay,
So maybe
maybe.
Sweden?
But he's got an accent. I'm sure of it. I gotta ask him. Or maybe it's just the way he talks. I mean, there's nothing wrong about that. It's just that I always felt he was like from somewhere else. He just had to be from somewhere else.
Mm, um, so, wait. So Atkins was saying, haha, Steve is a friend of mine too. And do you know where he is from? Because maybe Atkins can
Oh, for
answer.
sure. Yeah, yeah. He'll probably be able to.
Uh, he's in Norway now with his wife, Cornelia.
Yeah, she's a super cool painter too.
Is it Cornelia or Cornelia? How do I. Nicholas?
I'm not sure. Depends on where she's from. So I would go. I don't know. Maybe Cornelia. Maybe just to sound sophisticated.
Mm, uh, yeah, so they're saying Stephen is American but lives in Norway. Uh,
So some of that accent creeped in. I'm sure of it. I'm sure he's okay by if I say that, but
so Irvin Torres was saying, what's your opinion about Guillermo Lorca?
Guillermo Lorca, yeah, he does like those massive paintings, right? Good looking guy too. Could be a model. Um, yeah, it's super. I mean, he's super talented. If he's able to do those, I don't even know how he does those. To be honest, like that's just way too much work. I feel. But kudos to him. I mean, he's got that desire to paint enormous, weird paintings. Um, but yeah. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of his work, but you can never argue that that's a hell of a lot of work. That's pretty amazing. I don't even know how he does those paintings. I have no idea how he does those paintings. No clue. Because they're super complex, super complex paintings. So I don't know. Sometimes it just, you know, I realize that sometimes when I am at my kind of limits of my understanding, I just don't have a sense of how other people do stuff that just lies um, just way, above what I can do. Uh, but that doesn't mean that those are not like plausible things. Like there are very talented people out there. So yeah, I don't know how he does that, to be honest, but amazing. Yeah.
Jax Salomón dice, ¿qué te parece Justin Mortimer?
Muy bueno.
Gran colega del ilustrador
Claro,
Philip
Phil Hale.
Hale.
Sí, ellos
Un
compartieron
abrazo a
como,
los dos.
creo que todavía, creo que tienen un taller como uno al lado del otro, si no estoy mal. Sí, pero sí, sí. Pues es que yo soy fan muy grande de Phil Hale. A mí me fascina la obra de Phil Hale. Eh, y pues para mí es como esos artistas enormes, quizás más por, por mi historia como ilustrador y como persona que le gustaban los cómics antes. Em, Porque pues él hizo un poco tonón de portadas de Vértigo que eran súper chéveres. Incluso yo tengo como los cómics de las portadas que me gustaban resto de él porque me influenciaron muchísimo en algún momento. Entonces, sí, no, es un genio.
Um, so Todd was saying, Arthur Gain also has a patron I noticed today.
Right. Yeah. He Arthur Gain. He's the one that does. He starts right off just painting something like an eye or right. Am I mistaken? But he just goes straight for it, right?
So maybe if you turn, you can see.
Yeah, yeah. But the he always posts like videos of himself painting, and he'll just start like with an eye or with a note. Like he'll start with a part.
So he paints like me, like
Mm,
how I paint, like
Um,
detail to.
maybe yeah. I mean, in that sense, yes. But I wouldn't say that you kind of paint like that.
No, I'm
No.
not saying that I paint like he paints, like, but like in the same
Yeah.
order, maybe.
Maybe you have to watch him paint.
Mm, uh,
Yeah, I hope they do well. I always hope people do well with their endeavors. You know, if they have a patron, I hope they do well. If they have other ways of sharing their work, hope they do well.
so wishlist 011
Yeah.
said, "You know, most of the artists I like. Perhaps less well known is Nathan Ford. Have you seen his work at all?"
Um, Show me, Danny.
Yep,
Maybe
I'm gonna.
not off the top of my head. So I apologize for that. But let me see if by looking at some of their work I remember.
So there you go.
Uh oh. So no. So Nathan, is he Canadian?
Let me see. Oh, um, what? Because the information in Wikipedia it's about a Nathan Ford, but a fictional character. So
Yeah, that
that's
one,
not
Danny.
it.
No, that one for sure. That's the one. No, maybe whomever was
mm,
talking, they can.
no, because I think this is also about the fictional character. The things that I
The
found.
worst at googling, Danny.
But you're stuck with
The
me doing this.
worst.
Oh,
I'm super
it
efficient
says
at googling.
born in. No, you're not.
Yes.
Mm, yo creo que no sé cómo eres con Google. I don't know
Muy
how you.
bueno. Soy súper eficiente.
Yeah,
Sí, súper.
yeah. Well, I think I'm efficient too. So,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
so it says that he was born in London
Right?
and lives and works in Wales.
No, so I'm totally off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so let me see if they answered something. Uh, no. So Rajita was saying, have you ever been part of the Portrait Society?
No, no. I'm not I don't think I would fit in that well, to be super honest with you.
I thought that you were going to say something else after that.
After that?
Yeah.
No, it's just that I don't know. I don't think I fit in. That's my problem. I don't fit in anywhere. No, no, I'm serious. I have
No, but now that
identity problems.
no, that
No,
sounds
it
super
is.
sad.
You opened the doors.
No,
You
now you're
opened the
making me
floodgates. Open the
feel
floodgates.
sad because you didn't know
Yeah, nothing.
the
Nothing.
no,
I don't have a
Nicolás.
home.
We
I
were
don't know
talking
where I belong to.
about a ¿cómo se dice eso? ¿Cobija?
No, about our identity.
No.
It is a bigger problem.
No.
It's a sense of place that I lack.
Wait, I forgot how to say cobija. Blanket, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were talking about a blanket that is sold here in Bogota and that you don't
I wasn't
like.
familiar with.
Yeah. And now you feel that you don't fit anywhere?
Anywhere. Nowhere.
No, that's not. You fit everywhere.
No.
That's the thing.
No. And after pandemic, I fit in less places.
Nicolas.
I need places to be a little bit wider.
So when you were talking about Stephen Bowman
Right?
accent,
Yeah.
so Rumen Plamenov was
Yeah.
saying he has actually commented on his accent. Basically, living in Italy, Sweden, and the US has gotten him to talk like in an international way.
Oh, there we go. So I wasn't that far off.
Mm, uh,
I can totally see that. Yeah. I can understand it. As someone who currently doesn't know their place on this earth, I can understand it.
Nicolas. No, and the thing is that you're super Colombian. I mean, I
No,
would
you're
never
just
say,
trying to. No,
no, I'm not trying
You're
anything.
trying to
Like,
make me feel better.
no, I would never say that you are from the US. I mean, I know
Well,
you were born there,
yeah,
but you're super Colombian.
still, when I travel within Colombia, I'm so white that if I go to Cartagena or Santa Marta, they try to talk to me in English. Yeah. I
No,
have no identity. I'm like
no, but
a
don't say
shapeshifter.
that.
Yeah.
No,
Or maybe I am nowhere and everywhere.
that's what I was saying. You fit everywhere. And
Yeah,
also, you don't
maybe.
look that
I do.
extranjero.
I do.
No, you
Yeah,
don't.
I do.
You definitely don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ay, Nicolás, la gente va a creer que estás
Bootleg
triste, en
ginger.
serio. Eh,
I can't even go full ginger. I'm like bootleg.
so,
God got tired. He was like, "We'll make him ginger," and he just went to the bathroom. I don't know. I don't know where I was going.
mhm. So Tommy was saying, would you have a Danny week where Danny paints?
Well, we're
No.
gonna have Danny weeks. If you think about it, that's gonna be. But painting
But like
live,
recording, I don't think so.
yeah. Whenever if you feel comfortable, you obviously can. Whenever you want, no pressure.
But
It's
it would
totally
be
fine.
like a 40-hour footage.
Yeah, that could be our
So, yeah.
New Year's stream coming up. Anyone who's interested, just let
Yeah,
me know.
but
I'm gonna
next
be
year,
here.
next
I'll
year,
be here.
next year we're gonna be,
I'll be here.
yeah, and I'm gonna be here
I'm gonna
too.
be celebrating, New Year's all over the world that day
Oh, so
because it's because I'm planetary,
mm,
Danny. I don't belong.
you belong everywhere. If you're planetary, it's because you belong everywhere.
I'm earthly.
No. So Alejandro Morales was saying, Danny, I was checking your Insta today. Your drawing in blue is great. Thank you so much, Alejandro. I'm happy to hear that you liked it. Um. mm, so Todd was saying, do you know James Bland? I sometimes think a few of his paintings have a slightly similar feel to yours.
I don't know
Nicolas.
him personally. We've yet to meet, but we know a lot of people, a lot of the same people. He was gonna go to that Liverpool workshop. Initially, it just didn't work out, but I am a very very big fan of his work. He's tremendous painter. So yeah.
Eh, te pregunta Popping Tales, ¿qué opinas del trabajo de los ETAM, Crew o los
Geniales, ¿no?
Broken qué?
Unos monstruos.
Fingers?
Sí, son los que hacen
Ah,
como.
el de ETAM yo sé,
Sí, los que hacen esas fachadas, esas
pero
pinturas.
Broken Fingers yo no había visto. ¿Tú sí?
No, de pronto
A ver.
no. Pero sí, son unos monstruos. O sea, uff.
Ah, mira. Espera. Uf, escogí la imagen más chiquita de todas.
Qué chévere.
Sí, está muy
Sí,
chévere.
está lindísimo. Está genial. Uf.
Sí, muy chévere.
Sí, esos colectivos que hacen trabajos en espacios urbanos son una locura. A mí o sea, como arte se me hace increíble. Me encantaría saber cómo funciona la logística de ese tipo de pinturas. Cuándo tienen que sacar permisos, cuándo son patrocinadas. Me fascinaría, es que a mí me encanta como todo aspecto de la ejecución de como un proyecto de esos, porque esos son proyectos de arte realmente, no es como que un parche de pintores dice, ay, vamos a pintar este muro. No, eso es muchísimo más complejo que eso. O sea, puede originarse con simplemente decir, oiga, venga, pintamos este muro, pero pues para llevar grúas y para gastar esa cantidad de aerosol y pintura que gastan en esas obras, pues yo creo que es un poquito más complejo. Entonces me encantaría conocer eso, ¿no? Pero no conozco esas particularidades de ese trabajo que se me harían súper chéveres. No sé si yo sería tan capaz de hacerlo, pues de pronto, o sea, de pronto, no lo veo tan lejano en términos de, de como, uy, yo no sé hacer, no sé, pues si es pintar, en últimas, pintar es pintar y ya. Y así sea pintar como con un rodillo enorme, pues pintar, toca, es al final como lo mismo, pero, pero no sabría cómo, o sea, si me mostraran cómo es la vuelta, o sea, cómo se tiene que hacer todo eso, sería genial y obviamente me interesaría el resto.
Um, so Barbara Pask was saying, "Do you have a website, Danny, so I can see your work?" I don't.
No, we can get you a website though. That's
Yeah,
super easy.
I don't have a website, but
Yeah, we can get a website
we have
for
a
you.
screen on screen we have our Instagram handles. So maybe you can go check it out if you want to.
Yeah, websites sadly are less and less important nowadays, to be honest. Um, they're a formality, but a lot of galleries nowadays are very interested, or they measure the potential market or the potential impact with, yeah, sure, your past work for sure, your portfolio, but they're also quietly, and maybe sometimes not openly, they're also very interested in you know um, how how social media receives your work. So many times, and Instagram can be the way you replace your personal website. Not the same, but yeah.
So Roman Plamenov was saying, any advice on creating depth and good uniform shadows?
Um, that's super specific. I would like to see why you feel maybe your shadows are not uniform, or maybe what you mean about depth. Because maybe it's all just a matter of value control at its most basic. It can be, you can create a ton of depth by just being super super careful with your values. That's what almost all of traditional painting did. Like the atmosphere was really really or the gain in atmosphere was started from the moment that they kind of understood that they could paint like atmospheric perspective and stuff like that. So yeah, so I would have to see maybe what you're referring to exactly, and maybe I could be of more service, that way.
Um, Muchas gracias. Popping Tails dice, tiene una línea chévere, Dani. Muchísimas gracias.
Sí, muy bonita. Súper sensible. Como muy calladita, pero súper, súper bonita, súper sensible.
Gracias.
De nada. Yo solo flores. Solo flores para ti siempre.
Ay, yo también solo
Oh, no, mi
flores.
amor, no.
No, un
Hoy, hoy,
momento,
hoy,
pausa acá.
hoy pelaste el cobre.
No,
Sí, hoy
nosotros
conocimos.
siempre
Hoy
hacemos chistes y
conocimos
chistes,
a.
pero cuando tú eres el
Hoy
que no se sabe,
conocimos.
cuando tú eres el que
Hoy
no se sabe,
conocimos a la Daniela.
Nicolás, no.
No
Y mira,
importa, yo me
es un momento de
recuperaré,
crecimiento, creo
me
yo,
levantaré
personal
del suelo
para ti,
y
que no siempre,
aprenderé
déjame
a
hablar,
ser
no
humilde.
siempre Nicolás tiene uno que saberse todas las respuestas.
Yo
Hoy no
nunca
te
me,
supiste ninguna,
yo
y eso
nunca,
está bien.
yo nunca he dicho que me sé todas las
No,
respuestas.
estoy
Nunca,
molestando,
nunca.
pero
En-
no. Oigan, y todo el mundo para que estén tranquilos, estamos molestando, ¿no? Porque yo creo que a veces la
Ujú.
gente
Con mis sentimientos
no
siempre
entiende.
molestas, aparentemente.
No, no, pero hablando en
Mm.
serio un
Ah,
momentico,
estamos, sí, sí, sí.
yo siento que a
Ah,
veces
break y
la gente
ahorita
no
entro otra vez
entiende
en mi
en drama,
personaje,
sí.
sí.
Pero yo creo que la gente a veces no entiende nuestro humor. Yo
No,
nunca
yo
me
creo que
molesto
sí.
cuando tú me dices cosas ni tú te molestas. Entonces, estén tranquilos, todo está súper.
Sí.
Irving
No
Torres,
tanto, pero 80%.
uy, me atoré con las babas. Irving
Cuando
Torres,
uno dice mentiras, normalmente se
Irving
atora.
Torres
Sí.
dice, hay una canción de Enrique Bunbury llamada
Ujú.
De todo el mundo y habla de que ama España, pero se siente de todo el mundo. Tal vez es lo tuyo, Nicolás. Yo
Sí,
también a
pero
veces me siento así.
Bumburi era más chévere que yo. Yo soy un blanquito ahí, todo
Mm,
desabrido. Dios mío.
oh, so Liad was saying Danny can wishlist 011 share their Instagram handle in the chat. Of course, go ahead. And
Yeah,
also
yeah,
if you
yeah.
share it we can take a look after the stream. But sure, of course.
Oh, anything, anything. I mean, if people, uh, and I'm being, and I think Danny's with me. Unless people are being like super disrespectful, like,
Yeah.
and that's, we would not accept at all any of that. Um, oh no, you can share your own work here. I mean, it's like a place that we can meet. Artists can meet.
Yeah.
Yeah. If somebody starts being like super spammy, like we'll try to notice those things, but
Oh, and if they're like disrespectful, of course I would
oh
block
yeah.
them.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. So, yeah.
mm,
But if it's none of that, don't worry. You can share your own work. Yeah.
uh, eh, Lich dice Marilla Tiurina o Marija Tiurina, no sé.
¿Qué es otra cobija que no conozco? ¿Qué es?
Tiene varios procesos en el Insta en Europa. En algunos, en algunas instalaciones son pagos. Por ejemplo, acá se intentaron hacer varios con presupuesto de algunas universidades, pero al final no pasa. Sobre murales, dice.
Gracias, Lich. Sí.
Si estuve perdida toda la respuesta
Sí, sí.
hasta.
No, es que es mucha plata. Yo supongo que a uno no le pueden pagar solo materiales. O sea, si a uno le dicen, no, les damos la grúa, las pinturas, o sea, se sacan los permisos o ya hay cómo trabajar sobre este muro, entonces súper chévere. Pues todo eso re bien, pero ¿y qué? Y uno no vive de eso. O sea, al final pues yo supondría que el esfuerzo tiene que ser completo para que se puedan realmente hacer todos esos proyectos. Entonces, sí, me da mucha curiosidad.
Em, eh, espera, estoy tratando de leer. Em, so Tommy was saying, do you know where your biggest audience is if you look at the stats on Insta and YouTube?
Yeah,
Like
US.
demographics? Yeah.
Yeah, US for sure. And it's like US and then UK.
Let me see. I'm gonna go and check the.
Well, I can speak about Instagram and you can
Yeah, yeah,
check
of course.
YouTube, but Tommy for sure US, and our biggest market is also for sure in the US. Followed, I would say, yeah, where do we ship the second most to? To the
Mm,
UK, I would say.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Um, and after that, I would say maybe some other place in Europe. I mean, it sounds sad, but definitely not Latin America. Definitely
Yeah,
not. We don't ship
that
almost at
much.
all
Yeah,
locally. We have a few people that are super cool, super generous
yeah,
here in Bogota or in Colombia. Um, but and we understand, like, locally it's also expensive. Like, maybe in terms of dollars,
yeah.
our prices may be far more affordable, but for us in Colombia, it would be, it's still quite expensive if you really think about it. So yeah, so that probably alienates a few people from that potential market. Um, but usually it's the same with books. I mean, there's super cool, generous people that support us in editorial projects, but it's usually very few people locally. So yeah.
So I was looking at the like demographics here
Yeah.
on YouTube, and it says that um we have like the most of our audience is between 25 and 34.
Right.
That's the 35.4%. And in the top geographies, it's United States with 19.1%.
Okay, but it's not massive difference then. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is that there's also like if people don't have the location available.
Right, right, right.
So it's United States. After that, it's Spain,
There we go.
United
Oh.
Kingdom, Colombia here,
Viva Colombia!
Brazil, eh, France, Canada, Argentina, Germany. Yeah,
Yeah, so pretty varied. Yeah.
yeah, and it's 69.8% male.
Woof.
Yeah,
How do we get that better, Danny? Help me out.
and how?
I don't know. That's a little unbalanced, I feel.
Yeah, but that I mean it's
I mean, we have
also
no like super control over that, but
yeah, and it's also the data from the subscribers. And I see that the 72.5% of the people that watch our content
yeah.
are subscribed, but the other 27.6 are not subscribed. So
So
maybe in
so
that
maybe every single
27%,
woman doesn't
they're
subscribe.
female. Yeah. Yeah. Mm,
We got to get I would love it cuz my Instagram is like 50-50, which I think is super cool. Um but yeah,
um,
I wouldn't even know. I wouldn't even like I was joking about that because I don't even know what that means like or what that would suppose like I don't know. I think an audience is like if you do cool stuff, like
yeah.
that has no gender. Like that is,
And I,
open for absolutely everyone. I hope people understand. Eventually like I don't know. I don't know what at least I don't know for you, Danny, but for me I don't know like what the future of what we do is,
yeah.
and it's okay. It's totally fine that I don't know, um, but but I would like it at least if people like saw it as something that is really genderless, or I mean, it's just painting. It's just a life kind of. It's like the life that is behind art or behind I don't know, a creative process maybe, just to open it up that it doesn't have to be painting really just entirely about painting, but it's just speaking from the life behind a creative process. I think that that's cool and that's super super open. So
Mm, uh, so, Lich dijo, sí, usualmente el muro ya está listo y uno tiene que pasar una cotización grupal de todo el proceso y redetallada.
sí, me imagino.
Em, so Barbara was
¿Y
saying,
aquí cuánto pagan, Lich? ¿Usted sabe? Como más o menos cuánto se ganan las personas que hacen muros así chéveres.
so Barbara was saying, I'm old then, LOL, because of the demographics. But
Yeah.
yeah, but I think we also have because like it's dominant in the range that I said that I think was 25 and 35.
I forget.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking to it, but we also have look like it's super balanced. If you can look,
Um,
I mean it's
I
quite
I can't see
what?
from here. No, it's just that if I'm focusing like
Oh,
super
okay.
close, I can't see. But I trust you. I trust you on that. Yeah.
Okay.
I never look at data. I never do.
No,
It's
I think
boring.
it's important if you're trying to make maybe like sponsored things,
Right, right.
but
That's
we
what
don't
they
do
look
that.
at,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, but we don't do that. So
No,
I mean, it doesn't really matter.
no, it doesn't. And
So
I've always treated it as something that doesn't quite matter. So,
um, yeah. So Atkins says, uh, okay. So Shade said, but honestly, why does it matter? And Atkins says, agree. I don't even think about it. The people who tune in do, and the ones that don't, don't. And
yeah.
yeah, I think that's the way we
Oh
think
yeah,
about it too.
we've always. I mean, if you look at the way our channel just has grown, it just doesn't, it it just grows because some people get to know it, and the people that like it just stick around, and that's about it. Like, it's super not complicated. There's not, it's not like you could have a study done, behind the reasons of how we've grown. It's super, super simple. It's just we've done the exact same thing all the time. We've never spent a dime on buying advertising or anything. So we don't even know the effect that that would have on what we're doing, because we don't care about that. So I don't know. We are we are right where we want to be.
Yeah.
So we are totally fine with that.
And Beshria said, meanwhile, there's me, a 17-year-old girl,
Dude,
tuning in from Bangladesh.
that's
Oh, but that's super
amazing.
cool. I mean, and the
That's
thing that I
amazing. Bangladesh represent. Woo!
and the thing that I like the most is that like we can be here like talking all the stream and you can be like interacting between yourself and it doesn't matter like how old are you or where are you at the moment or where are you from. I mean, we just I don't know you, but I think that we just all feel like people that already know each other and that are like old friends having a good time.
There we go.
Don't
It's
you think?
yeah.
¿Qué fue esa voz?
Party made up of only guys. Yeah.
Mm, so Tommy said, I think the I think the country stats are interesting. I have US, the UK, but then Mexico and India.
Nice. Yeah. You know
Mm.
where I'm really big at? Iran. I always
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I find that fascinating. That's so cool. So awesome. Don't ask me why, but I think it's awesome.
Mm. So I'm trying to look for another question. Mm.
So I'm totally aware that this hand just makes no sense, but it looks kind of cool, and I'm willing to sacrifice sense for cool. So
So Popping Tails dijo, ¿algún consejo para no fracasar,
fracajar.
fracasar en Instagram?
No, y que es fracasar en Instagram. ¿Qué quiere decir eso? No sé.
Sí, no.
No, no le pare bolas. Pues, ¿sabe cuál es el mejor consejo? No le pare bolas. O sea, no construya su vida alrededor de eso. Si quiere postear cosas, postéelas y ya. O sea, si quiere postearlas es porque las quiere postear, pero no se fije o no piense que después de que las posteó algo va a validar la posteada. O sea, el número de personas que lo vio o le dio like, que eso es lo que valida lo que acaba de hacer. No, póngala porque le gusta y ya. Y comparta su vida y comparta lo que usted quiera pintar o hacer o dibujar o lo que se le dé la gana, pero pues porque lo quiere compartir y ya. Pero de resto, todas esas cosas que uno no controla, uno para qué se va, para qué uno le como que le echa tiempo y cabeza a esas cosas y nada de eso lo controla uno.
Um, so Leah says, what about Japan? Are you big in Japan?
Oh, nice. Um, I'm trying to answer with another song, but I can't.
Mm,
No. I can't. No, I don't think so. No. Are you thinking, Danny, of a song?
Yeah, but I'm blank. I
Yeah.
mean, mm,
And nothing that sounds like terrible? No.
no.
No, I didn't.
Sí, no.
Yeah.
Fatal.
Yeah, that's not good.
Mhm.
We just we weren't up for that
Yeah.
one. We weren't ready.
Um. So, also Atkins made one of the questions that I like.
Oh, there we go. You have a fan.
So Atkins was saying favorite snack for both of you.
Snack. Do I snack a lot?
mm,
No,
but like,
my belly is from like food,
but
not
I would
snacks.
say that brownie.
Yeah, but I haven't like I stopped it because it was too much,
But
and I stopped
it
it
can
like
be your
cold turkey.
favorite.
But I stopped it like super cold turkey.
Mm,
Yeah, I don't know. Say something healthy, just so it doesn't seem like.
apple. Yeah, we love carrots,
Yeah,
apple, and
like a good
water,
tangerine.
cold water.
Good tangerine, maybe.
Yeah. No, but I don't think we snack that much.
No, that's
Well,
the thing.
yo pico, pero ¿cómo se dice eso?
Snack.
No, porque snack es como más preparadito. Yo
No, not really. You can
abro, reviso y
anything for
cojo.
snacks. Yeah, that's a snack.
Yeah, but we usually don't have that much paquetes.
Yeah, we don't have that much to snack with here. That's like my kids when someone fed, they go to the pantry that they open it and it's like disappointment.
No, but we have things.
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
have things for them, but it's
we
almost
have
like they need
chips.
more.
We have like three different. At this moment, we have three different flavor of chips. We have Pop Tarts. We have.
No, we don't have that anymore because we don't buy those things. Honestly,
we have Oreo.
that's gone.
No.
I think so. Yeah.
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 We have.
But most of this is for my kids.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yeah, but they always go back to the pantry and they just a look of disappointment, you know.
Yeah,
it's
but
like what? It's like they're expecting food to materialize, like new food.
Yeah, but they would love to see just like
and cool food, like sweet, like
only candies. That's what I was gonna
probably.
say. I mean, they would be happy if there was always a Milky Way there.
Like trash. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how they grow. My son is growing like crazy. I mean, like crazy. Acknowledging that I'm his father. Because I'm not that. I'm not tall at all. So I don't. He's probably going to be taller than me, but still, he's growing like super super quickly, and he just eats trash. So let him enjoy that. That's not going to be the case for the rest of his life.
So Atkins was saying the snacks in other people's houses are always better.
I don't know. Will we?
Mm,
I'll have a tea. I enjoy having tea.
Yeah.
That sounds super boring.
And
but
also
it's
we
true,
sometimes
though.
have like hummus with.
Yeah, that I like actually.
Yeah.
Hummus with like little. It could be with a ton of stuff like carrots. That I love.
I think
I really like.
I snack. Can it be called a snack if it's something to drink? I don't think so. Or is it?
You do whatever.
Because
Doesn't
you
matter.
said hot tea. So
yeah. Because I'm thinking like, what do I kind of crave? And I just don't crave snacks, to be perfectly honest. But I'll crave like right now. I want a tea. Like I'm so wanting like a cup of tea. I'm like 94 inside. Yeah.
Yeah, and I crave a lot a matcha, like matcha latte.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. So
we're getting close, by the way, to finishing. Close-ish.
So Popping Tails dice, bueno, ahora sí una pregunta. Ahora sí una pregunta
Ahora
importante.
sí.
¿Cuál es su cereal favorito?
Ay, voy a decir el mío desde cuando yo era chiquito, de cuando yo era chiquito. Prezi Crispis.
Ay, sí, acuérdate que yo te compré Prezi
Fres,
Crispy.
¿cuándo?
Claro que sí, cuando
Primero no,
volvieron a sacarlos
primero no
acá en
digas Fresi
Colombia.
Crispy, o sea,
Pues así se dice acá.
No,
¿Cómo se
señora,
dice?
Fresi Crispies.
Prezi Crispies. Me cortaste hablando.
Sí,
Eso fue lo
ajá,
que pasó.
ajá, ajá. Em,
Sí, yo te conseguí, Nicolás.
no, pero ¿sabe qué es lo malo? Yo no puedo tomar leche. Nada, ni leche, ya me he dado cuenta, ni leche de almendra, ni leche de nada. O sea, es como la gran tragedia, que a uno le gusta el cereal y no puede tomar leche ni nada.
Uy, yo creo que mi cereal favorito. eh, hmm,
Me encantó que comenzaste y te varaste.
No,
Uy,
es que a
yo
mí me
estoy
encantan
segura que mi
todos.
cereal favorito
¿Tu
es
cereal? ¿Hablé así?
Sova.
Uy, no sé, a mí me encantan los que dejan con mucho saborcito la leche,
Un asco, entonces,
como
fatal.
Chocapic. Uy, delicioso.
Que Seba.
Sí.
Ah.
Diría, no, es que a mí, digamos, los Lucky Charms me gustan los más melos, pero el cereal es cualquier cosa. Entonces,
Uy,
pues,
¿sabes cuál me encanta? Es que
¿cuál?
yo parezco hogar
No, el
geriátrico.
de las uvas pasas, que es
No, sí,
delicioso.
ese
Uy,
como Raisin Bran me
uy,
encanta.
delicioso.
Pero el de Quaker,
¿El de honey?
el
¿El
de
de miel?
Quaker. No, pues
¿Cuál?
aquí, acuérdate, ese de las hojuelas de avena.
El que compramos nosotros acá a veces.
Sí, sí, sí. Sí, no, yo la verdad compraría todos los días, pero y comería todos los días cereal, pero no puedo ni leche, por eso, o sea, aquí pues se consigue que leche normal, que obvio no, yo no puedo, eh,
Leche de
leche
almendras,
de
de
almendra y
soya,
tampoco puedo, no, pero la leche de
de
soya ya
coco.
casi, ya muy poca gente. Em, no, y no puedo, qué tragedia, es una tragedia griega,
Em,
imbécil.
sí. El de Milo también es deli.
No, a mí nunca me gustó el
Uy, es
Milo.
deli porque deja con saborcito
Es
la
que nunca me
leche.
gustó, es que a mí nunca me gustó la leche, entonces el Milo, pues, ¿cómo toma uno Milo si no le gusta la
Sí,
leche?
no. Pero eso sí, acuérdate, cuando estuvimos de viaje,
¿Qué?
uno queda hipnotizado en los pasillos como de Walmart o algo así,
Ah, sí, con la cantidad
con
de
la cantidad
cereales.
de
Sí, sí.
cereales. Hijo pucha,
Sí,
qué
para otra
delicia.
vida, otras vidas.
Eh, so Liad was asking, favorite fruit.
Uy, la mandarina para mí.
No, pero en inglés, mi amor.
So for me, tangerine, for sure.
Mm,
Well, our tangerine, our see, the thing is, our tangerine, or what we would call tangerine, is like a large clementine.
what? What is a tangerine then?
No, es que hay veces son distintísimas. Hay veces son más como una naranja. En Estados Unidos hay veces son
Ah,
súper como una
sí.
naranja.
Sí, sí, sí.
Sí, sí.
What?
Y uno las tiene que pelar y la cáscara es dura, como la de la naranja. Pero una clementine es
A
como
ver.
la mandarina chiquitita. La nuestra, la mandarina nuestra chiquitica.
Ah, sí, 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 sí.
Pero entonces nuestras mandarinas pueden ser como clementines, pero más grandecitas que son chévere.
Ujú.
So yeah, for me, a clementine, for sure.
For
A
me,
100%. The best.
mm, 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 I don't know. Mm,
Guayaba?
no, I hate. Is it called guava?
Guava.
Guava, yeah, I don't like that. Um, maybe cherries. I love cherries.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm,
Nothing local, but fine.
mm, no sé, carambolo.
No,
Nicolás,
ahora,
¿qué digo
ahora que
entonces?
zapote.
Uy, pero, ay, ¿cómo es que? ¿Por qué se me fue el nombre?
¿Qué?
¿Te acuerdas que a veces saliendo de Transmilenio yo compraba?
¿Mamoncillos?
Mamoncillos. Uy,
Uy, se te olvidó decir
mamón.
mamoncillos.
No me, se te
Está
me
peor
olvidó
que siete
decir, se me fue
tigres.
la.
Peor que
Bueno, sí,
siete
estamos
tigre.
empatados.
Sí.
Em, yeah, so, no, pero ¿cómo se dice
No,
mamoncillo en inglés?
mamoncillo, mi amor.
Yeah, so there's also a fruit called
Sucky,
mamoncillo.
suckicillo. Sucky, suckcillo.
It's called mamoncillo,
Porque
and
uno tiene.
I really
Because
like
you
it.
have to suck it. Mamar, yo supongo que es de ahí, ¿no?
No sé, mi
Mamoncillo,
amor.
mamar, de chupar. No, esto de chupar no tiene nada de raro.
Eh,
Eso.
oh, so it's called Spanish lime.
Oh no, that doesn't say
Yeah,
anything though.
mamoncillo, Spanish lime.
Yeah, but that doesn't give anyone a clue because it is so not like a
Oh,
lime.
and also here we have lulo, which
Yeah.
is Nicolas' favorite fruit for juice.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't think they have it in the
No, no,
United
no. The all
States.
of that is like todas esas frutas son
No,
ecuatoriales.
but you have to, because we are
Lulo.
answering in English.
Lulo.
Lulo
Lulo.
is delicious.
Yeah.
Um,
Best country for fruit, Colombia,
yeah.
for sure.
Te
If you
gu-
come here, you'll get to taste fruits that you've never tasted before.
A ver, espera. A ver. Mm, so,
I think we're almost done, Daniela.
Nicole. No,
Mm-hmm.
Nicolachito.
Mm-hmm.
Mm, so Atkins was saying I'd consider like salami and things like that a snack or
Fruit?
cheese. Yeah, the thing is that I think we eat, like we have a breakfast, then we have the lunch,
Yeah, we don't do a
and
lot
then
of in
like a
between
dinner.
meals.
Yeah, but we don't have that much snacks. Mm, so Geneva was asking, how do you enjoy tea without sweetener? I find it's an acquired taste.
Oh, honey though. I use honey.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
but it's also super good without
Yeah, but I can drink tea without, for sure.
yeah. You don't like matcha, for
No,
example.
that tastes like soap.
No, it's so
Soap.
good.
It tastes like soap.
Mm, mm. So when you were saying that you're like 24 inside, what?
What?
94 inside? Sorry.
Uh-huh.
Liad was saying 94, but loves comic books and video games.
That is the best place then. Best way to be. So
Mm.
I think I'm done, to be honest. Uh if we review, and I'm gonna speak with just a little bit about the painting, Danny. Because it was a very eclectic, it seemed like a Friday stream for some reason. But you directed, Danny, because you're always the one in charge of
But
what we
it's
talk about.
always Friday.
Okay, that's cool. Um, so from the beginning, I said that it was going to be naturally disjointed. I do feel like let's speak about shortcomings or things that were tough about it, and things where I think the painting is somewhat more successful. Um, One thing I pushed was the digging into the this shape. I think Fer is slightly more putting her weight on her cheek, on her cheekbone, but I just made this kind of go up more because I wanted her more like burrowed in. I think that was my thought process like at the beginning. And the reason that I thought I would do that, and it was just to integrate all this very abstract mass into this shape, and I think that's done well. And if I was able to do it properly, it was just by putting my cast shadows where that if the moment demanded me to do so, that's where I put them. So it's cast shadow. It just slowly disappears. Then there's no really limit between her chin and the arm of the sofa, and then it's hair going into shadow, and then it's a shadow mass of her shoulder, what would be her shoulder and her arm here. But again, no edges there, no strong edges there. Just the moments where it turns, we're gonna have like a sharper edge, but then it's just far more open and a really nice kind of lost edge. If it wasn't sharp here, it would make no sense to be sharp up here. So I left. I'm sorry. So I left some of the underpainting, which I thought kind of worked well. um Hair is very, very simple, very, it feels like a nice mass. I really like the sort of equivalency of light that you can feel on her kind of bangs and on the top of her head down to the forehead. I like these little bits of light that kind of come down. I think those are nice. The reflected light, I kind of pushed it a little bit. It's a far more open shadow. By open shadow, I mean that the light is bouncing and it's reflecting into that shadow and it's filling it up with information. So this is a very, kind of one of those beautiful empty shadows that you can get away with. I'm super happy about that shadow just kind of flowing into her hair. And then because that reflected light is affecting some of her cheek, it's also reflecting a bit of her hair. So that coolness you can kind of see, you can spot that little bits of coolness in the hair that's kind of it feels like a bow. It's kind of turning in before it turns in and it tucks underneath. It's actually like a nice little curve. And because it has that curve, some of that light is actually affecting that little bit. So that was kind of cool. I knew I was going to run into trouble with the hand down here because that's like a whole painting. And this feels disjointed. It feels like a zombie hand. It feels like a Addams Family hand that's just going to kind of scurry through. And but I was like, you know what? That's totally cool. Like, let's try to make it work. And I don't know if it works, quite frankly, but I don't care. It's kind of nice. It just gives it like a second moment. It gives the painting like a second instance. So it's almost like a step down. So you're going to see something here that grabs your attention. Hopefully, if we're reading it like, most Westerners, left to right, up, down. Hopefully we just enter the painting and we just land here, and then we want to travel down. And, we're like, oh, that's a kind of cool hand. It couldn't be too tight. I was getting a little too enamored by, wanting to do like the nails. And I realized, no. If this doesn't make sense with this, then, the effort is just pointless. So I left that. I don't know what to do with that nail, that big toe. What is this? ¿Cómo se dice dedo gordo?
Thumb.
That thumbnail. Yeah, gracias, Linda.
No,
Yeah, that thumbnail. I left the paper. Maybe it's a little too light, but I don't care. That's totally fine. And yeah, I kind of left it open. I used some of that same gray just to have some sense of that, that gray hue just traveling downwards. I think it's cool. I think it finished cool. This ended up feeling more like a horizon line for some reason. So it's very landscapey too, I feel. So that's kind of nice. This is just, I mean, they are just darks here that are brushed, but they do feel like something that doesn't have to be spelled out. So yeah, I feel that's it's kind of nice, kind of successful in many ways, but very challenging, and it was tough in many other ways. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I think it's a good day. Good day. I mean, it was a bad day in all the conversations that where Danny just
when you
pointed
didn't
a
know
a bright
about your culture, but
spotlight into my ignorance about my own culture, and that made me feel small, very small. But I was able to power through and think about the painting, think about how much I love my country. Yeah, and yeah, we made it through.
Yeah.
No drama.
Yeah. You rised up from my words.
No, so this was cool. I think we went a little long today, but that's fine. Danny, any questions before we finish off?
Yeah. So they were saying
Yeah.
that they really liked your painting,
Thank you.
and I'm trying to look for a question. So Column says, quick question off topic. But
Yes.
what do you think about when you're approaching painting Far's hair?
Oh, big masses of color. I really don't. I don't think of hair. I don't think of what things are called. I just think of color against color. I start looking at my painting as a painting. I know that maybe that sounds redundant, but that's to me that's far more relevant than just painting hair. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
true for hair and for sorry if I'm adjusting my mic. But that's true for hair and just about anything else, to be 100% honest. So,
no. So now that you were with your
drama?
drama, yeah.
Yeah.
Robin said, "Poor Nicolas."
Oh yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
was looking for.
yeah, yeah.
Terrible sympathy. Yeah. No, 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 no. We're joking. We're joking, of course.
Mm,
It's all in good fun.
so yeah, Rosalind said, "I love the mood," and yes, landscape is a good description. So let me see if I can get another question, maybe, mm, or maybe not.
No, we could leave
mm,
it at that. That's totally fine. So that's gonna be it for today. Thank you guys. We'll see
yeah,
you
thank you,
guys
everyone.
tomorrow. And after tomorrow, we have a trip planned.
Yeah,
We're gonna see if we, because it's like we have to deal with some bank things, and for bank issues, we have to travel, so we have to do that. But we're also visiting my brother, and we're gonna spend Thanksgiving with him. Danny's traveling with me and my mother, so it's gonna be super cool. We're gonna go to my
yeah,
brother's in Houston, so that's gonna be fun. But that also means that we're probably not going to be streaming. I'm going to try to keep myself busy, and I'm going to try to have work that I can show. I don't know if every day, but but I'm going to try to be. I'm going to try to be consistent about doing some stuff over there, and we'll see. But honestly, it's going to be tough because we are visiting, and we don't want to just go in there and say, hey, can we use your internet? We have to stream,
yeah,
and hey, it's going to be a couple of hours. So we have to, I'm visiting my brother, and we haven't seen him in a couple of years. We saw him pre COVID,
yeah,
October pre COVID, we saw
yeah,
him. So honestly, we don't really feel that it would be cool to just go there and be like, yeah, we're gonna hang out, but
yeah.
we're
But
also gonna
everyone,
work. And
yeah,
so
and
when
be
we need
like,
the internet, when we need to stream, like everyone just
yeah, shut up.
work around
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
our schedule. No, no, we want to
yeah.
visit
That,
him and be just
yeah,
like regular human beings visiting your family. So yeah, so we're gonna try to make some sort of content, be it in
Instagram.
I'm thinking about drawing, color pencil drawing, which is something that I don't have to carry my paints. It doesn't have to be like, I don't have to ask my brother like, oh, let me find a space for me to paint. Last time I was there with him, I actually did some paintings. I did some paintings for
Yeah,
my brother.
but you were alone that time,
Right, right, right.
so I think this
With
time
my
it's
mom.
gonna.
That was also with
Oh
my
yeah,
mother.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but we would sit in the afternoon, and we would just, have a chat, and I was painting. It
yeah,
was super, super kind of super low key. I mean, which is kind of what we do here. Like I could just paint with everyone just having a cup of coffee, and that's fine. So yeah, so uh in a way we apologize for that, but in another way, like our painted lives has always been about life intersecting with painting.
yeah,
So
and like real life. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, like the life that lies behind painting, and it's also like it's the life that makes possible the fact that we want to paint, but it's also the life that painting makes possible. So it's a really nice uh, uh, energy that feeds onto itself, but one wouldn't be without the other. So this is one of those moments where my brother has been he hasn't seen us, his family, for a very long time. Super excited to see us, so we are equally as excited to be there with him. So yeah, so we'll try to make some sort of images through that time, but and we'll tell you guys when we'll be back. So but if you're in the US, you're probably gonna have like Thanksgiving weekend coming up. It's not weekend. That's like a whole week coming up. So you guys are probably also going to be dealing with your own families. And if you're not, if you're like me, that I was very much so Colombian when everyone in the U.S. when I was studying was celebrating Thanksgiving, and what I would do was like, yeah, I would either go by myself or with a friend to like a diner, and we just had dinner at a diner on Thanksgiving Day, and people were like, "Oh, you poor souls, this is so sad." And we were like, "Yeah, we don't really celebrate this, so
yeah,
don't worry, don't worry about us." But yeah. So for everyone else in the entire world that doesn't quite celebrate it, yeah, we're not gonna be available during those days, but we'll come back, and it'll be super happy to be back. And remember that, even if we miss, these days, next year we're still going to be here. So that, I think that's the cool part about all of this, that we found a way to try. No, I think, well, we're finding a way
to
where we
balance.
can balance everything in our lives, and we're going to give it our best shot next year to see, if both Danny and I can work, and if we can just be part of this super cool community. So yeah. So the sad part is that we're going to miss some days. Cool part is that,
It will be. We would have a
hopefully,
lot to
yeah,
fun.
if time and life is kind to us, next year we can do this, for many days, and there's going to be enough time for us to
To
just,
hang out
yeah,
with
yeah,
you
yeah.
guys.
So anyways, so that was it, but we're still going to be here tomorrow, so this is not like formal see you soon. Tomorrow we're going to be doing this, and hopefully I'll feel a little bit better.
Oh, please do.
So
Yeah, so thank you everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow, 2 p.m. also. So
yes,
see you
see you guys
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.